Live. Are we live? Let's we adapt before we find out. We should be waiting for Tom Llama. 3D printing llama should be here. There we go. About chat. Let me just get rid of this window altogether. Get rid of eBay. Unit. Put. Oh, you and your hold. What to have to hold? What's up, John? How is life? Come on now, what's going on? There we go. There will be a new Grand Tour. Yay. Coming soon. But when? When is the new Grand Tour? That's what I want to know. That's the only thing on here I see from coming up on Amazon Prime that I want to watch. All right. This can come up a little. I'm actually thinking about bringing it out here and doing the work on the totes. Because this thing here is a freaking pigsty. But you can't see it. I don't know, can you see that? No, you can't see it. I'm going to make it so you can see what I'm doing. I think I'm going to work on it right there. I think this cable will reach far enough. Yeah, there you go. That thing's a mess. What I do, these apart. Work right here. Oh god, that thing's heavy. And that way I can use this as my table. You can sort of see what I'm doing. Why won't that thing? It only leans that way. It doesn't lean that way. Well, how about like that? That'll work. There you go. Another normal day of work. Yeah, you were traveling around. I heard you were visiting people. Somebody said you and whoever was traveling with you would stop by. Two whole viewers. So here's my crappy little fish scale, which I need to replace because this thing is just falling apart, literally. So that's going to go in the garbage pretty soon. And we got screw nuts here. We got screws here. And I got screws. Oh, I got another bin over here I got to collect up. Oh, crap. And you can see my ugly ass feet. Get over it. And I got more junk there. They need to figure out what goes where. They need to just basically dump them out. And these things are loose, organize. Because there is a lot loose, just floating around. So anyways, what are you guys up to tonight? Anything fun and exciting? Anyone want to jump into the stream? Close. Close the door. Let's bring this up just a hair. There you go. So this is all my junk. I have a lot of it now. I need to organize it all. This is my little run cam camera, which has nothing to do with that junk. I just threw it in there today because it just happened to be the right place to throw it at the wrong time. Wrong place to throw it at the wrong time. Go there. What do we have here? Those are electronic connectors. I'm trying to organize this thing, and it's just not working. And I just have bags of stuff all mixed together. This actually goes in the case with this all properly. I'm going to have the wrong tool in the wrong slot, but that's alright, as long as it stays in there. Then I can actually close up. Got 3 more VOP phone from Raleigh. Really? Okay, there's a zipper on this thing somewhere, so I know there is. It actually goes in the tool bin over here. Oh god, there's 3 more bins of screws and crap I forgot about. Oh, that one stays in there because that's automotive. I just have way too much of this crap, and I have let it go and let it go and let it go. Let it go. Purple tie wraps. That actually needs to go right there with that one because that's strictly for the 4XY. This can just go away because that's in the process of being built. That is a single left purple zip tie. My garbage can's almost full. Garbage can right over here. I know I'm going to be throwing stuff in it. Oh, look. Piece of Capricorn tubing. Somewhere around here. Oh, there's some more PTFE tubing. I tried tying it, and it's just too slippery. It doesn't stay with the zip ties. This tool does not belong in this box. Neither is this. This should actually be in the other package I just zipped up. Even though it doesn't belong in that kit, it's going in that kit. Because it'll fit in the kit. At least I think it will. Is this thing locked closed? Yes. Yeah, it can fit in that kit, no problem. Maybe it is a problem. It'll fit right there, yep. Well, maybe not. Why isn't that fitting? I don't know. That looks like it fits now. 3 more VOP phones from Raleigh. Drive 2 hours each way to get. Well, why? That's why they make mailman. You don't have to drive. Let's see, what else we got here? Hey! My, doesn't even belong there. This belongs downstairs in my basement. It really has nothing to do with 3D printing. My rings for my boss's lights that I'm never going to put in because he's long gone. And that's that. What else do I got in here? Some more screws. Some more tie wraps. What is this? This is a wire for nothing specific. Oh, look, more screws and nuts. These are a bunch of hot end parts that I was actually looking for the other day. Of course. Oh, and there's a heat block. Oh, this is the one I just took off. Oh, no, this is the one I took off a long time ago. Oh, no, this is the one I just took off. Oh, no, it's not, because it's still got the thermistor in there. I must have taken that off a long time ago. These are... What the hell are these? Well, these are insets. These go to the... There. These go to the something CNC machine, which I don't even have around here anymore. Or did I buy insets? I think I bought these. CR10 reducing bushings. What's that reducing? Some kind of cloth. Now, why do I need a cleaning cloth to go with a reduction bushing? And it literally says on it, SR10 reducer bushing, including cleaning cloth. What am I cleaning? So they can see that. Cleaning cloth with a reduction bushing. I don't know. I don't even know where they came from. Did I order them? I think I did, but now I can't think of what I was reducing. Oh, well. More junk. So one of these boxes is all my wiring stuff, which probably isn't going to work in the long run. It's all my hot-end stuff, which that wire was to. This is actually the wiring one. What the hell's in here? Oh, those are the original clips, which can go in the hot-end box. Actually, I just found these are the 60s, not the 30s. I really want more 30s. I got enough for now. This should go in the wiring box, not the hot end box. That can go in the wiring box, not the hot end box. Now the hot end box has some wiring in it. Tape. This is an XT30 off my quadcopter, actually, which I replaced with a cable. There's a whole bunch of tie wraps, but you know what? I think that's the perfect spot for them. I'm going to keep them there, even though they really belong with that machine. My earth, whatever you call it here, ribbony thing. Let's see what else. Anybody else in here? Anybody doing anything exciting besides me? I mean, actually doing something exciting, because what I'm doing is not exciting. This goes in the hot end box. All the hot end box and stuff, which is right here. Where those nozzles go? I just had a package of nozzles. I think these are the ones I kind of wanted to throw out. Are these all the stainless ones? Garbage. What a question mark. Yeah, I have a feeling these are all the ones I'm going to throw out, because this is a stainless one, if I remember correctly. Or is it a coated one? I don't remember having a stainless one that looked like this. 0.4. I think this is actually coated, not stainless. That little brass one's garbage. We'll hang on. As long as it's marked garbage, so I don't go looking in there directly for it. When I'm in need, and it's more of an experimental thing. That can go there. Those are the 2 tool steel. Here is a brand new, never been used 0.4 plated. This is a plated one. That'll be cool. Something under those. This is a coated one. Mark them. Oh, we got a couple more here. You're in the wrong section. That's a regular brass one. That's a piece of junk. Oh, it is the more solid one. I don't know if that's coated. There's got to be an easier way to find out if it's coated or if it's just like I can scrape it somewhere where it's not being done. I don't think I've got any like this stainless. I think you guys can even see it probably. And this is all crap in here. That's a piece of heat shrink tube. Which somewhere here. I'm gonna find a place to put all my purple heat shrink tube. I just got a whole bunch of purple heat shrink tube. It's actually more of a lavender, but what I gotta do is get rid of all of these because these are the same size as these, are they not? Nope, they're bigger. Okay. I will never use that big stuff. I have all these big ones over here. With this mass production over here, I got a lot of heat shrink tube that I'll probably never use because I'll just probably never use it. I use this little stuff more than anything. The way I go at it. Stick that in there. What do we got in here? What else? Oh, I have an East Coast Rip Rap Festival sticker I just found. Gonna have to stick that somewhere. More heat shrink tube. A couple of tie wraps, oddballs. You know, I really don't want to save the heat shrink tube, but if I throw it out, I'll be missing it. So, because I bought it for a reason. Now I gotta find a place to put this purple. I bought some purple heat shrink tube. This is purple to go with the purple printer. But I gotta find a place to put it because it's big long ones. I'm not sure I want to cut it yet. So I gotta find a way to keep it neat and clean so I can use it later. And what I just did is not the way to do it. So for now, it'll sit up here. What else we got in here? Some garbage. Screw. Some tape. Oh, and these are the new, these are the heat shrink soldering tube things. Where they, the heat shrink tube is the cold solder in it. I just got these. I haven't even used one yet. They look pretty interesting though. That needs to go into the electrical bin. This is the heat shrink bin. What do I have over here? Oh, these are all belts. What else can I put with the belts? There's a whole half a section there. That's all hot end. This is electrical. Can I get this to fit in here? Sure, that'll fit right in there with those. Those are the connectors. There's another whole one here that's basically empty. It's got a few parts in there, but just some screws. Actually, I could use some of these screws. I wish I had these earlier. Oh well. So I got another whole bin empty. I got this half a bin empty. So with the belts, I will put. That should go with electrical. That's going to go with electrical. I have a feeling I'm going to need more than one electrical bin. This is just random parts that I threw into the bag so they wouldn't. So let's unrandom them. Somewhat random screws. This is a very long M3. And I got some bunch of stuff from Mr. Metric just before he went out of business. Got a whole bunch of M3 lock washers and screws, and I think that's the same thing as these. Correct? Yep. So put that back in that bin. I can pick it up. Go back in this little baggie, which is probably where it came from. got all of these. I have no idea where those came from. One of these is just full of this kind of stuff. That's all just electrical connectors. This is a mixture of M4, M3, and M2s. These are M3. Why is that ground? Oh, these are the special ones I cut for something. What the hell did I cut them for? To fit on something so they wouldn't stick out. Oh, they went on my extruder. That's where they went. What they are about. Well, they're about 20 millimeters long, so they're going in the 20 millimeter bin of these. This is all M5. Everything in here, I believe, is M5. Different sizes, yes. Which I had the bigger bit of. These are all the bearings and drives. Which I have more of these somewhere. These are the washer type. Those are the belt type. Well, I got the belts right here. Put all the drives with the belts. That pulleys with the belts. I mean, it makes sense, right? Don't need this stupid bag. It just gets in the way. Let's see, I saw another pulley here. That's a double pulley. Some bearings. I think I'll keep separate because those are just regular bearings. These are pulley bearings. These are all crappy hose ends. What else we got in this bin here? Springs, another tie wrap, clip something with my cameras probably. A big fuse. Not a burnt fuse. Burnt at all. Different kinds of springs. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna throw them over to put all this stuff in with the belts and the pulleys. And a magnet. Some oddball screws. That's got nothing to do with anything here. That's a really long screw. It's about the same length as these, is it not? It's also an M3, yes. It's the same length. So it's going to this bag for now. Anybody doing anything besides me on a Sunday night? That is a self-tapping anchor screw. I don't even know what to do with that. Not a clue what to do with that. These are all different sizes. They're lock nuts. These are not lock nuts. This is a mixture of lock nuts and washers for M4. These are washers and lock nuts for M3. And more lock nuts right here for M3. So I might as well throw them all together. Showing everything but M3. Oh, that says that's an M3. Is that the same size? Yeah, but it's a little different. The same size. These are the Mr. Metrics, and these are some no name, but you know what? They're the same thing. So they're going in the same bin. Now we gotta get rid of that. These are just standard M4s. So I'll leave them in the Ziploc, but they will fit in there. And these are just M3 washers, correct? Yes. Even though, where am I going to put these? Actually, what the hell is this? This is all just M3, isn't it? I have a lot of M3 stuff. And this is all mixed up. Oh boy. That's an M4. This is all M3. This is all M3. This is M4, M5. These are like M5 actually. Which coincides with that M5. Correct the window? Yep. M5 washers, so I'll just throw in there too. A little less baggy. This is all M2 or M3. This is all M3. Yep. So just go in here, even though it's a different head. We have the same lengths. Yep. Very close. This is M4. I'll put in there. This is an M4. This is an M3. This is an M5. This is an M5 lock nut. Spinny thing. These, they got even more nuts. Well, I was looking for all of these the other day. Of course, they weren't where I thought they were. All my T-nuts are in here. So I might as well put more T-nuts in there. They'll fit. A little squishy. We'll make it fit. We have a bit of just M5 right here for the frames. It's a little 6 or 8 millimeter. It's an M4. In here, even though again it's a different kind, it's still an M4. It's about that long. How much more can we consolidate? This is what I got just for other stuff. It is a misfit of stuff. It sure is. This is pretty much an open bin. This is all my electronic basic stuff. I think instead of having this big bag, if I take all of these, I can put the heat shrink tubes. The heat shrink tubes just over there. Put the XT60 clips in here. I can get rid of that bag. These two heat shrink tubes can go in this thing, which is just heat shrink tube. That's all that's in it. That's a wiring jumper for my quadcopters that doesn't even belong with the printers. We're down to one viewer, everybody's left. I'm that boring. Wow. That's sad. That's really, really sad. This is for that extruder, which I will keep up top here. This is just the electrical for that. I will keep up top here. This is an individual pack. I hope that'll fit up top there. These are just lock nuts. These are all M3s, which I believe is what all is in here. So I can get rid of this one if I consolidate all this stuff. I won't get rid of it, but I will just use it for something else. These are all M5. Some peanuts. These are all M5. 10 millimeter. What is in here? M5, 8 millimeter. I already see there's some 10s in there. These are all 7 or 8 millimeter. That's an empty one. They're about the same length as those. It's a little bit shorter. These 20s. These are supposed to be 20s. These are supposed to be 15s. These look like more like 20s. These look like 15s, don't they? Maybe 10s. They're going to be 10s. Close to 20s, or are they shorter? That's 20. These can all go together right here. Double check they're all the same way. Yeah. Get rid of this. You don't need the bag. Hate the bag. These are kind of different though, so I'm going to keep them in a bag. A little bit shorter. Oh, Lordy. Peanuts. Lots and lots of peanuts. Anything is some are M4 and some are M5. Yeah. Just kind of annoying. All my peanuts right here. These are all lock nuts for enough of everywhere. Those are all the same length. These aren't. These are longer. Not that much longer. Sorting. I hate sorting two screws. I like them all pre-sorted. These are actually two different lengths, but they're so close. I'm going to put them in two separate bins. And there's that and that. That's a little bit longer. These are way shorter. Way shorter. That is medium long. A bit longer. That belongs over here. Over that one. And this one. Oh, these nuts. Are they steel? Or are they stainless of some sort? They look like they're stainless of some sort. This is an M2 little baby, which goes in this one. And about there. These are all locked up. These are strictly M3s. For some reason I thought I needed a whole bunch of M3s for something. An anchor that I don't need. You know what? I'm gonna wash it. I don't know when you need a washer. It's a magnet. No, M3 washers. Do I have room for M3 only washer bowl? Not really in this pocket. I do over here. This has got random crap in it. These are nylon spacers. It's all M3 stuff. Ziplocky. Well, we're a little more organized. We're just individuals. This belongs in the wiring bin, which is this one. hot-end stuff. I have hot-end I want to put in there. I think I can do something better with. That fits very nicely. These two I actually think go with that. This thing's empty. There you go. Oh, what do we got in here? More crap I forgot about. Oh, look, there's all the gears and wheels and all that crap. Which I was actually looking for the other day. Bearings. All sets of open build wheels and gears. Full sets of bearings, which I forgot all about. You know what, no pulleys. I'm going to take out of here. Put it with the belts, because the belts and the pulleys kind of belong together. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Belts and pulleys belong together. This really belongs with the hot ends. Let's see. No, wheels, not belts. Pulleys. These are doubles. These are all singles. Again, there's some better ones than others, but that's alright. They're easy to tell apart. Make this strictly about wheels and pulleys, not anything else. Or wheels and bearings. I mean, well, just wheels. All the bearings, they go in here. Actually, take some of these dividers right out. Make them all fit better. Oh god, I forgot I had that. That's kind of interesting. I don't even need those because they're all the same damn thing. These are more bearings, so they can go in here. They fit in much nicer anyways. This is actually, that's a wheel. Where here I just had my hand a pulley, not a wheel. There it is. That can go in there. These are my compression bearings. They'll stay in here. These are all kinds of misfit parts. I don't even know what those are. Well, they were tiny somethings. Many wheels off of that. Holy crap, I got more of this garbage. Anybody up there? Are you breaking stuff? No, I'm cleaning up, Glenn. Are you even still here? How long ago were you even here? A minute or two ago. I'm cleaning. I'm organizing. Kind of got like you when I built my, well, you can't see it in the video, but my big printer, and I just kind of miscombobulated everything when I was building it. And now I've got bins and bins of kind of the same stuff. So I'm reorganizing it so it's the same stuff in the same spot. What are you doing? I started watching a video you had, and then it was just black screen, and then it went dead. So I didn't watch it. But you did right after you failed out. Hey, don't you track stuff that comes to your email or to your mailing address? Just want to make sure that box got to you. Not that it's that important, but there is one kind of nice item in it. The rest of it's just goofy stuff like usual. There's one actually really nice item in it. I want to make sure you actually get that. You track all your email or all your mailings coming to your. Oh, I got you. That's why it was gray screen. You actually track all your mail coming to your mailing your mail post office box, right? I actually want to make sure that you get that. And of course, I didn't write the tracking number down. I probably threw the receipt out. No, I don't care that you actually pick it up. I just want to make sure it actually gets there because it was supposed to be there Thursday night or Friday morning, they said. But you know how that is. They're never on time. But there's one item in there that's kind of a nice item, and it's not expensive or anything. It's just a nice thing. And I want to make sure you get it. I mean, it was the holiday week, so with New Year's and Christmas and everything. But wait a minute, I sent that before Christmas, didn't I? Yeah, I think I sent that before Christmas, just before. I sent it out the day before Christmas, I'm pretty sure. Right, it was the day before New Year's. When did I send it? I don't look, no. I'll know, but I'll know I'll do it with the calendar. You know, I sent it the day before New Year's. I know it was a Monday. Okay. Well, I'm sure you'll get it. It's not a big deal. And even if you don't, it's not that big of a deal. It just is what it is. It's just kind of a cool item. You'll enjoy it. Actually, you'll enjoy a couple of them. I can't believe that after you realize we ran into Joel got on the live stream with us Thursday night, Friday night. And I kind of left him alone because everyone else was harassing him, but I wanted him to do a little 10-second video for that box I just sent you. I was hoping, he said he was going to try, but, you know, he's busy and he really doesn't know who the hell I am from Adam. I did kind of leave him alone while everyone else was harassing him until the very end. And Clay said, "Can you do me a favor? It's really for Glenn." But if I tell you what it is, it'll ruin it. Anyway, jump into the feeds. That way you can actually test your. You can test if you want. There's no better place to test than right here in my little stupid. You're the only person watching because there's one viewer. I think I'm done for the night cleaning. I've got a lot cleaned up. Got my little box bag together. Everything fits in their little containers again, which is a nice thing. I'll actually be able to shut the top of this now. Look at that. I'll actually shut the top. That's a new amazing thing. These go in this one. Yeah, I know you haven't talked to him. He jumped into our stream. We were streaming Friday, I guess it was. Joel just appeared. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And they were all surprised. And of course, you know, Joel's kind of a celebrity, so everyone was like, "Oh." So I just kind of left him alone. You know, he doesn't really need any more googly-eyed super fans. But just before he left, I asked him if he'd do me a favor. He said, "Yeah, man, that sounds like a brilliant idea." I should have just had him do it on the stream and then record it off the stream. Are you still rebuilding computers? Is that what you're doing? Just testing your internet? There he is. There's a Fun King logo.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
All right, give me a second because I haven't configured any of this.
Yeah, no. Well, it's, if you want to play, this is a perfect stream to play on. There you are.
All right, let's try this out.
Your audio is absolutely horrendous.
Loud?
No, it's like you're in another room or in an echo chamber. It's like you're using a mic that's not. You're not using your collar mic or something.
Well, maybe it's defaulted to the camera.
Yeah, because I've had that happen. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're on the other side of the room.
Let's try that one. How's that?
That's much better.
Yeah, it's, you know, every time that you format a computer and then you got to start all over and you got to remember the 10 million things that you need to configure.
Yeah. Well, I've had the same problem because I'm using this antique Mac, and 2 days ago I said, "Screw it, I'm going to see if I can get my video," because I was having serious. I couldn't even do like Hangouts like this; it would stutter. And I said maybe it's just something I installed over the last, you know, I haven't touched this thing in like 5 years, so I just wiped it. And I beta tested for Apple for years, so all of my drives are partitioned. So I always had a beta drive for my partition in one of my partitions. I just wiped that and reinstalled a new one onto that. But I did the same thing. All my audio was screwed up. And I don't even know. Is it right now? Is that the mic I'm using?
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, I can definitely tell when you touch it.
Yeah, it's got to be that one then. Which this thing is overly sensitive, which is why I got this 3D printed guard on it.
Well, you know, Xander and I started with the boom microphones like that.
Yeah.
And they were fine. We had them, you know, off to the side, and it was enough that it was picking us up on both of them. But the wireless lavalier mics are awesome.
Oh, yeah. But for one, my computer won't do it.
Why?
Because it's Bluetooth 1.
Huh.
And they're all Bluetooth 2 or 3 now. The thing's an antique, dude.
This one is physical plug-in. It's got a quarter-inch phono jack on it.
I actually have a headset that I bought from my PlayStation that is amazing. Every time I use it, everyone's like, "Holy crap, dude, that's like the best mic I've ever heard." But you're wired, and I'm too freaking hyper to be tied down.
Well,
I'm ripping something apart.
I bought these. I got the kids each a pair for Christmas. And
yeah, same basic thing.
They're like $26. When I put them in the cart, the red ones went down to $10. So I bought 3 pairs of them.
It's like this thing, dude. I went and bought this mic. It's a Fine or whatever.
That's what this is. Fine, yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking for a cheap USB mic. It was like $80. And I'm looking at it going, I can't afford that. But, you know, it was really highly recommended. And then I looked at it, and it said, you know how they always list like 2 or 3, and there's like a black one and a blue one?
Right.
And then the pink one was $19.95.
Because nobody wants the pink.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't give a crap if the thing's pink.
Right.
What do I care? If it bothers me that much, I'll paint the damn thing. For $60 off?
Absolutely.
I'm going to buy the pink one.
Well, but see, the headphones didn't say they were on sale. They were just $26, but when I went to check out, they were $10. And I thought, okay, and I changed the quantity up to 3, and then they went back to $26. I'm like, nope, back down to 1. And it was fun. It was $10 again.
Yeah.
So I had to place 3 orders to get 3 sets of them. But
yeah, no, I've seen that. Have you ever seen that when you go on Amazon? They're like 1 for $19.95, sale. If you buy 4 of them, they're $100. It's like, wait a minute, who's doing that kind of math? It's like I buy like toilet paper and paper towel and that kind of crap bulk on either Walmart or Amazon, whoever's got it that week on sale. You know, because why not? You know, that's something you can store easily. Yeah.
I got one of those dash buttons that I have on my toilet. When I run low on toilet paper, I push the button, and 2 days later, I got a pack of toilet paper.
Okay, that's a little too personal, but yeah, it's the same idea.
Oh, no, we can go further because I buy the Northern, like, super large rolls.
Yeah, that's what I do, too. I buy Angel Soft. But I buy them in the case.
Right.
It's like you can buy the pack, or you can buy the 12-pack, which is basically 2, or you can buy the case is 24, and it's like 24 for $24. So it's basically $1 a roll.
Right. Which
is about what you pay if you go to the store, but they're delivering it to me. I'm not saving anything, but it comes to my damn door, so why go to the store? Waste gas driving back and forth.
That's right.
But then if you go to the 48, it's like 3 times the price. Like, who's an idiot enough to buy 48 when you just put 24 in the cart twice?
Convenience charge.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's just the box charge. It's like, oh, we got to put 2 boxes into one big box, so we're going to charge you $100 for the box.
Somebody has to tape 2. They have to tape 2 of them together.
That's the other thing with these totes. Do you see these big totes I have?
Yeah.
If you go on Amazon, Iris makes the Rubbermaid ones. Oh, Ziploc, that's what they are. And they're weather tight. Well, Iris is a big, they're fancy upscale. But they only make these ones to order. They only make them once a month, the 72 quart. So if you order it while they have it in stock, they're $40. If you order it while they're out of stock, they're $17. So I always order them when they're out of stock. Who cares if I have to, I don't need them. So I ordered 2 of them when they were out of stock for $17. And they came in 2 weeks. I love them things. These Irish totes, they're perfect. 22 rolls in each one.
Was it you that recommended those ball end?
Yes.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, these things.
Yeah, Santa brought me some this year.
They are awesome, dude. But I agree with you. The little ones with the little handles.
Yeah, I wish they would have kept all the handles the same and then just made the driver smaller. But
I think they're. I think my next design is going to be a slip over like TPU handle.
Yeah,
they drive me nuts too. Size. You can't get enough torque on it, even to torque them, especially the smallest two.
I don't know. I feel like I'm playing with baby tools with them little tiny handles.
Yeah. And what's funny is these things are the same brand. They're exactly the same thing without a handle. And I got a little snap-on, finger.
Okay. Yeah.
These don't work as well. They jam in the freaking screws. And I bought 2 sets because I thought, oh, maybe they just sent me a bad set. And I literally bought 2 sets because they were on sale for like $8. So I ended up ordering another set going, maybe there's same company, Botus or Bohoivis or whatever they're called.
Are they the same size? Like they have all the same sizes?
Yeah, it's all the same size. It's exactly the same thing. There's just no handle on it, and you slip it into a driver. They're made to actually go on screw guns, but I got these.
Well, sometimes I need to put a 1 millimeter into my impact gun.
Yeah. Well, these things are awesome, dude, because it's a socket drive on one side, and it's a 6-sided hex drive on the other.
Yeah.
And it's just a thumb twister. And I actually got a ratcheting one too. Huh. I got it from Sears for like $8 for a set, but you can't get them there anymore.
Well, the way they're going, you won't be able to get anything. I think. Yeah, Sears.
Sears is done. They shut down.
Did they? Yeah,
they're closed here.
I didn't. As of last Friday, they were supposed to have made a decision on whether or not they were going to allow whoever's buyout. But...
Yeah, well, you know who bought them out, don't you?
No.
Lowe's. Lowe's bought them out a long time ago, bought out all their stock. That's why if you go into Lowe's, it's all Craftsman now.
Well, Stanley owns Craftsman.
Yeah, well, Lowe's bought.
No.
They didn't buy They didn't buy Sears. They bought out Sears. They bought all their stock.
Yeah, it's not Stanley. It's Black & Decker. Black & Decker owns Craftsman.
Black & Decker owns everything.
But Black & Decker owns Stanley, who owns, yeah.
Yeah. Because Black & Decker, you don't even think you realize what Black & Decker owns. And it's funny because they own they own DeWalt.
Yep.
Do you realize they were always DeWalt? DeWalt was always Black & Decker, right from the beginning.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I have a 1959 radial arm saw that says Black & Decker DeWalt.
Huh.
It actually says Black & Decker DeWalt division. It's like a 40s or 50s radial arm saw. The thing is, it's so dangerous, and yet it's so awesome because it's one of those, you pull it through the board and it's steel. There's no plastic on it. The guards are all steel. And you pull it through a board and like a new one goes, this thing just zzz. But when you shut it off, you like go upstairs, make a cup of coffee, come back down. The thing's still winding down.
There's no like brake on it.
There's no brakes. But I mean, it's so. And when it winds up, it's like because it's got a weight on the side of it.
A big flywheel.
Yeah, it's got a huge flywheel weight on the side of it. So when it spins up and you pull it through the board, it does not stop.
That's awesome.
I mean, that thing could cut through bone and steel, and I've cut aluminum with it. I cut my extrusions with that. I started using my regular chop box, and it kept binding down on my chop box. So I put it through the radial arm saw, and that just didn't even slow down.
Not a flinch.
Because you did the same thing with the FK1, right?
I did it all on my DeWalt chop saw.
Yeah.
12-inch compound sliding miter saw.
Yeah, I got the same thing. I just got the 10. I don't use 12s because 12s are inaccurate when you're doing fancy trim work.
Yeah.
People don't realize when you use a 12-inch and you're doing.
Yeah, because the smaller variation is more dramatic on a bigger blade.
Yeah, well, the blade flexes.
Yeah.
When you start going through oaks and stuff like that, the blade actually twists as you're cutting through it.
Yeah.
I actually, if I'm doing really nice like crown molding and stuff, I like the old 8 1/4, 8-inch. The old original sliders.
Yeah, I just cut everything with a coping saw. No, it's a joke.
I do a lot of coping saws.
you're not
I have like 4 of them.
You're not going to get a precision cut out of a coping saw.
Oh, hell yeah, you can. if you know how to use a coping saw.
No,
you use it as much as I used to. I don't really anymore.
Straight 45. It's gonna be like
I do all my crown molding because when I do crown molding, I do one side square and then I cope the other side too.
Right.
Sometimes depends on how much I'm getting paid and how accurate I want to be and how nice the building is.
I was going to say, yeah, depending on if they're going to caulk it and then paint it, or are they going to finish it?
Yeah. My room here, it's all just 45, and I slapped it up there. That crown molding right there, that's just 45.
Yeah.
That's actually leftover from a modular, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's how I do base too. If it's going to get caulked and painted, I'll just 45 it into the corners.
Yeah. I used to do a lot of the setting modulars. Nothing made us more happy when a modular went across the GW bridge and smashed into the bridge and got destroyed.
Oh.
They still bring it. They have to by law. So they still bring it, but every modular is packed with stuff. Like the crown molding and
the trim to put it together.
When you say, okay, it comes through damage, you send them a photo, you go back to the factory, we need a new box. They send a whole new box. Everything in it, the whole inventory. My whole house is sided off of modulars.
Nice.
I got a freaking modular. We had 4 boxes come through. We were doing a house out on Long Island, and it was 12 boxes. It was basically 2 separate houses and a garage, but it was 12 boxes. It was a 4-stack, a 2-stack, and then a garage. And they had like 6 boxes get destroyed on the George Washington Bridge. I don't know why they go across the George Washington Bridge. They should go across the Tappan Zee or something, but I don't know. They always catch the bridge somewhere going through. I don't know if you've ever been across the GW, but it's kind of, when you got this freaking 60-foot long trailer behind you, you're going to hit something.
Oh, Red Light has joined us.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Red Light. Oh, we got 5. You came in. We're getting popular now.
Oh, I tweeted.
Oh, did you? But yeah, we got 6 boxes, and they were all sandstone vinyl siding. And I was getting ready to do my siding because I always did wood, but the woodpeckers kept eating my house up. I said, screw it, I'm going vinyl. And my boss at the time said, we got
no
enough
maintenance.
vinyl here.
Yeah, there's no maintenance to it. I mean, it's a
It's butt ugly though. I
well,
hate vinyl siding.
close up from a distance, you can't really tell.
Now, see, I do it for a living, so it's one of those. I've resided this house like 3 times in 40 years, and I'm just done with it. I said, vinyl. I'm done. It's getting too old. I can't get on the staging no more. No more repairing. That and the woodpeckers don't like it, so there's nothing worse than 4 o'clock in the morning that gets the side of your house.
Yeah, mine is cement lap siding.
Is it?
Like hardy board, but it's
I know it's
certainteed. Yeah.
Because we're getting lots and lots. We can't put that on anymore up here.
Why is that?
Because it actually absorbs water worse than cedar. It rots the house out from underneath.
Huh.
I would check your house.
Yeah, no, it's I mean,
if you paint it proper.
Oh yeah, well, I painted it with Valspar elastomer paint.
Yeah,
it's guaranteed for like 25 years.
Yep. But that's our biggest problem was with the frost and everything. You guys have the humidity, but you don't have the change of temperature.
Right.
The concrete expands and contracts more than they thought it did, and the seams open up and blah blah blah. And if you don't 4-coat paint it.
Yeah, here you have to have the 19 layers of house wrap and.
Yeah. Well, we do that too. We just have way more insulation than you do.
Yeah.
Although this house don't.
I did the spray foam.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, it's spray foam insulation, and then it's the plywood on the outside of the house has a layer of foil on the inside of it to resist the radiant heat from the sun.
Yep. Radiant
and then
barrier.
I have a silver metal roof. So this house is super thermal.
Yep.
So it's kind of a moderate temperature all year long in here.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Carl Brown has joined us.
What's up, Nick? I'm kind of iffy about the metal roofs. Again, we have such a temperature flux here. They condensate on the underside a lot. And even though they breathe, especially if you get a true, folded seam, they actually breathe really well. But they still condensate and you got direct contact on the plywood. Now, everyone puts that. We don't even put tar paper on anything up here anymore. It's all that gyro coat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Water and ice. Ice and water.
Yeah.
They call it something Geico or whatever. They're finding that stuff's eating through the metal, though. I got a friend of mine that has that in Vermont. He had regular asphalt shingles when because I built his house for him. We put asphalt shingles on it. Like 2 years later, a couple of snowstorms, half the shingles were gone. Because they get those ice storms up there, and it just rips the shingles right off.
Yeah.
So he went metal, and he just got it under warranty because he had a couple. I didn't do the metal because I didn't know what I was doing back then. This is 20 years ago. And he just got it replaced 2 years ago under warranty because it rotted away. It rotted from underneath.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. The one I got, it's got a lifetime warranty on it, so.
Yeah. Well, again, even though it's hot there all the time, it's all the time. It's pretty much immediate temperature. You don't have the ridiculous fluctuation of temperature we have here.
Well, we do, but it's not the same range.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Florida.
Dude, I was 17 degrees yesterday. I was 45 this afternoon. It's 31 now.
Well, see, and that's how it is here, too. Like, last night it was down into the low 50s. Today it was up into the 70s. But, I mean, we'll literally be 90-something one day and 40 the next.
Yeah, but you never get to that low condensation point like we get.
No,
you have to get into the low 40s, upper 30s, and under to get a condensation problem.
We get into the 30s occasionally, but not. And
I was in Miami once. The one snowstorm, I lived in Miami when it hit.
Yeah.
People were freaking. Me and my roommate, who are both from up here, he was from Massachusetts and I was from here. We were out skeeching. We took a hood off of one of our other cars and we were out dragging each other around on our hood. And we literally had this old lady come out and start yelling, "You're going to die. The snow's going to kill you." We're like, "Lady, we come from this stuff. There's only 3 inches on the ground. This is nothing." She literally thought we were going to die from the cold. It's too cold and you're going to die.
Carl says he wants one of those $4,000 3D printed houses they're making for Africans.
You know, I was looking at that. The 2 of them I really like, and there's a guy here in Connecticut that wants to do the concrete one. That's a concrete 3D printed. You know, it's basically just a big freaking concrete tube that comes out and spits out just like your normal. I'm sure you've seen you do construction, so you've seen the concrete chutes. It's all it really is a big concrete chute that's a little more direct than.
Pretty much so, yeah. The concrete is mixed a little thicker. It's not as runny.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a pump with a smaller nozzle.
Yeah. The only thing they can't do here is because of the hurricanes and everything, you got to, they're talking about he's going to have a guy come along. They have to have manpower there and stick rebar in it every so many layers, so many feet apart.
But the problem with that is you would have to put the rebar in and then tear a chunk out because you're going to have to tie the next rebar in. No,
as long as you crisscross it, as long as it overlaps layers, it doesn't matter.
No, not here. It has to be tied. So like when we, that's the main thing we do is masonry. So when, say we go 12-foot high wall, we can only go up 5 feet, 4'8", and then we have to tie in the next piece of rebar.
Yeah, so we don't have to do that here.
You can do a 12-foot run, but you gotta punch inspection holes to prove that you have the rebar full length.
Well, that's the other thing is this guy wants to videotape it, so he has the proof.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just said he's got to go every 4 or 6 feet, and he's got to go 4-foot rebars and just plop it in there as it builds up, and he has to overlap like 3 or 4 layers side by side.
Yeah, because that's the thing that I'm really curious about with that technology is how they're going to get the reinforcement in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, like the horizontal reinforcement, every couple of layers, you could lay some horizontal in there.
Yeah.
Because then you just put right on top of it. But
our construction just went out the roof with framing now. Everyone's like coming to a dead halt. So they just last year passed a law here that anything within 50 miles of the shore, which is pretty much all of Connecticut, we now have to do the tied together steel bracket between floors.
Yeah.
So before you just used to put the little hurricane clip from the joist to the first stud. Yep. You now have to put a bolt going from the upper floor, this plate, 120 nails.
Yep.
Goes into the stud.
That's what's in my house.
Has an L bracket. The bolt goes through to the bottom plate.
Go bolt. Yep.
Yep. And then bolt the whole thing together. And that's by law. You have to do it every 4 feet.
Go bolt are the 2 that started all of that. So yep, I've got those all throughout my whole house.
Do you really?
Yep.
That's like tens of thousands of dollars added to the framing.
Nah, it wasn't that bad.
See, it is up here.
It might be now, because it was still a new technology when I did it. But
well, that should make it more expensive then.
Well, what was really crazy is they still made me put a lot of the regular straps in. So my neighbor had asked me, he goes, "Did anybody give you a hard time about building a wooden house instead of doing concrete?" And I said, "Not a wooden house. It's a metal house with some wood in between it."
Yeah.
There is so much steel.
Steel stud.
If it ever blows away, it's blowing away as one piece, like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Mr. Buttram is here.
How far apart did you have to put them? 4 foot?
Or
8 foot?
I think it's every 8. You're stretching me back quite a few years. I'd have to look at the plan again, but I think it's every 8 feet.
You see, we've had to do it for a while, but it was only at the corner of the houses. Every corner had to have those. And it only had to be on one side of the corner. You didn't have to do both sides of a corner. As long as one side of a corner had it, it was fine. And if you had more than a 30-foot run, you had to do it every like 16 feet if you were over 35 feet or 30 feet or something. If you had a flat wall facing the south side.
Well, and then I went a step further because they released a guide to Florida for retrofitting older homes to be current hurricane compatible or compliant. And so I actually went and did all of the retrofit on the new construction, which is completely overkill. But, like your end truss, I have gable ends. So that end truss, the 2x4s aren't the same as the wall. They're turned sideways. So therefore you get more flex in that gable end. So you then take a set of 2x4s and system this way.
You tee it.
And then you run strongbacks in.
Oh
and
God, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's my house. And
I tee it off anyways.
We take hurricanes very seriously. In fact, my utility room, which is my only fully interior room with no windows and stuff, has got additional hurricane strapping in it. It's got plywood over the ceiling. It's a strong room. The only thing that it doesn't have right now, it's got a hollow core door. It was supposed to have a solid core door, and the guy that I ordered my doors from screwed up.
But you can fix that.
Oh yeah. I probably
put
never
spray foam in there. Bore some holes and put spray foam in it.
I'll probably never fix it.
Yeah, no. When you hit, you know what I've been doing actually, because I've been slowly replacing mine are all cheap, like 1970s Luan doors.
Yeah.
And I'll go into Home Depot. And they'll have the one where the jam got screwed up, someone ordered it, or got returned, but the slab is still good.
Right.
It's like $30 or $40.
Yeah.
It's $100, $200 door, and you're getting it for $30. And it's like, oh, the pre-hung's all beat up and the jam's all screwed. It's like, I don't care. I
don't need that. Right.
I'm not gonna. I just want the slab.
Yeah.
And they're all matched now. I mean, as long as you get a Stanley compliant door.
Yeah, even if they're
all the same hinge layout,
you're never going to really know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the hinge layout's the hardest part.
Oh, right.
But that's a standard thing now. They're all, Therma-Tru, Stanley. They all have the same layout now. They're all exactly the same. They're interchangeable. So sometimes you have to take a chisel and knock a little bit out.
Yeah, but that's usually just somebody got sloppy or a jig is starting to wear out.
Yeah, well, the jigs start wearing out or they get, miscombobulated a little bit. But, to get a $200 door for $40 or $50,
right?
Why not?
Absolutely.
I'll go there with a chisel and a screwdriver. We end up doing it anyways, even with a brand new one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's done. Look at that.
What was it doing?
It's still stuck to the PEI because it's still hot.
Oh, I know.
You remember my little roller? I think I sent you guys some of those
you did.
sticks. But this one says...
I got one up on the shelf, and then I took some of them to Maker Faire with me.
Oh, did you? This one, I don't know if... Can you read that?
No.
It says Murph 2019.
Oh. God, I'm so excited about Murph.
I know. Me too. And I may not be able to go now, and it's really going to piss me off.
Oh, that'll be sad.
Yeah. Well, I budget, I'm always basically out of work this time of year. And I budgeted for it, and our water tank just crapped out. So there goes $600.
Wow.
And I just bought a new hot water tank 2 months ago with money I had saved. And I didn't just buy a cheap hot water tank. Of course, I had to go extreme and get a heat pump and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So that was $1,200-$1,300 instead of $400 or $500.
Yeah, no,
I can't do anything cheap.
Construction is terribly slow this time of year, so that's how I was able to get a week and a half off of work. But
yeah, well, I'm out of work. I got laid off 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that sucks.
Not really. I always do. I plan for it. It's winter.
Yeah, but I mean, they completely lay you off. Do you end up going back to the same company later?
It depends. I probably won't this coming year because I don't like it.
Yeah.
I was actually working for a fence company, and the deal was I wasn't going to fence. I was going to make fencing. I made, I used to make really fancy, the swirlies and all that crap, and I sat in the shop. Well, time and time again, we kept hiring these morons that didn't know how to install it. So they'd go install it, and then I'd have to go back and reinstall it. And I just don't want to do that. I'm too old, busted for that crap.
Yeah.
I can't be digging holes. Can't do it.
No, I feel you.
Too old for digging holes. Well, your little computer seems like it's working now.
Well, but it's hit or miss.
Well, that's what I was waiting for because you said Hangouts was the problem. So I was waiting for you to just disappear.
What'll happen is I'll freeze down below there. I'll be gone. It'll look like I'm still attached, but
Yeah,
No,
it'll just freeze up and your little logo
like-
will pop up.
we would do a whole entire Fun in the Country basement, and it would go through, and then other times it would
Yeah.
dump me 6-8 times.
Yep.
So, and then tonight before we got started, I brought my tablet up and I connected with that. Well, it would only stay connected for like 10 minutes and dump me out. And I'm like, I'm just cursed. I'm not destined to have Google Hangouts. But what's really crazy is Xander's using it right now too.
He's using Google Hangouts?
Yeah, obviously not this one.
No, I know, but I mean,
he's in with Bennett and stuff, but 3D Maker kid.
Yeah, he was on with Don and them the other day, or this morning. He was
Couple of the regulars have kind of disappeared.
Yeah, they pop in and out. Like Mike and Don, Wiley, who used to watch you guys a lot, and Don, the German 3D printing nerd.
Right.
They do their own so much that they don't really watch any because they stream 8 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, trying to get their watch time up.
Yeah, which is stupid because people only watch it while it's streaming. If it's that long, I never watch it. Would you watch an 8-hour live stream later?
No, God, no.
You know,
I don't have time for that.
no. I have time. If I miss you guys, I won't watch it if it's 2 hours because it's just I don't have 2 hours to waste.
Right. Well, it's not as much fun after the fact either.
Yeah.
I mean, I've admitted multiple times in public that I have a hard time watching Chris or Walter's videos because like they'll be going on and I'll start talking to them.
Right.
And then I'm like,
dude, I'm not even in your streams and I do that. Because Chris, when I do these streams, Chris pops in once in a while, a couple, 3 times he's done it. And, you know, he'll sit there. So I do the same thing because I'll sit there and talk to him.
Yeah, that's it. You get used to talking to somebody and then all of a sudden
it's like, dude, don't do that. And you're like, oh, right, he can't hear me.
It's like, oh, I have to type.
Yeah.
No.
It's like I got a couple of guys I've been sort of half-assed teaching Fusion too.
Yeah.
They keep doing it. They're trying to use Twitch now instead of YouTube because you get paid faster, basically, if you want to monetize.
Right.
Did you just glitch out?
I don't know.
Dude, your whole like little icon in the bottom corner just went all green and flickered and went freaky and then came back. Anyway, but I can't. There's no hangout on Twitch. There's no like interaction like this. So I got to type all what I'm doing, and I can't describe how to do Fusion on a typewriter.
Well, you know, that's
like I need to. For one, there's that 5-second delay. So I'm going, dude, don't do that, and you know,
it's too late.
He's like 6 steps up ahead, already done it, and he's going back. Well, which one do I not do?
Yeah, no, that's what kills me. Cause you know, I love Google's products. I really do. The only issue that I have with Google is that they're always listening, but I don't know why they can't fix Hangouts.
Well, they're replacing it.
With
you know that, right? Hangouts is gone next month. There is no more Google Hangouts as of next month.
See, somebody said that, and then I like we were talking about it, and I said, "Are you sure you're not talking about Google Plus?" And they were like, "Oh, maybe."
Now, Google Plus is already gone, basically.
Right.
Now, they're saying they're not going to completely get rid of it. They're just replacing it with their other 2. They have 2 that they've already had, been out for a couple of years now.
Which are what?
You'd have to read it. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
But they're both office-based, and they're pay to use.
Oh, I can't see that working.
Yeah. Now, one of them is big, and it's doing really well because it's instead of having a 10 user limit like we have with Hangouts, it's a 100 user limit.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine what that would be like. It gets to be.
It's an office thing. It's more they don't respond. They sit there and listen, and then the guy goes, "Do you have any questions?"
So like net meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't imagine doing a forum like that with 100 people. Because I mean, you get 8 to 10 people, and people are talking over each other, and
yeah. You get 2 or 3, and they're talking over each other.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that Walter and Chris and I do it, but sometimes I do it to them on purpose.
Yeah, well, I do it to Walter around the time, too. I love doing it to Walter. Oh, that's funny.
I don't know. You know, this whole Fun in the Country basement thing kind of came along as kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke. And then we decided to try it, and it works really well. The three of us have good chemistry together, and
yeah, and you got different personalities too, which
yeah,
is
well,
what
and then
makes
the
it
three of
fun.
us also have different audiences, so it drags everybody around together. And
Right.
no, it's been awesome.
Man, I was hoping you'd have that box and do the Mailbag Monday tomorrow. Oh well.
Yeah, no, unfortunately
Yeah,
not.
it's no big deal.
But
It's no big deal. It's just
I'll have her pick it up tomorrow, but then it'll be next Monday before it comes out.
yeah. It's all
Unless I could shoot it tomorrow night and release it on Tuesday, like I did the last time, because I'm a moron.
No,
I
wait.
scheduled it.
Because then maybe Joe will send you the video. Because
Yeah.
Joe popped into our stream, and that's how I got a hold of him.
Yeah.
He actually dropped into one of, I don't know if you know Don, right? The 3D printing German new dude. Joel showed up in one of his streams the other night.
Yeah. Well, Joel is known to do stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I know. And I hit him up on it, and he said, "Yeah, I got to do that if it's Glenn." Oh yeah, I'll do it. And
he's good. He's really good to me. He really is.
but I'm sure it's like not high on his priority list, especially where he's trying to get out to CES.
Yeah. No, I mean I owe so much to Joel, and then it's funny because anytime that I have to ask him for a favor, I always say to him, I need you to do me a favor because you owe me.
Dude, I wouldn't know who the hell you were if it weren't for Joel. That's how I found you.
Yeah.
That's how I found you, Walter, Chris.
The
I
Joel
didn't know who
effect.
Chris was until you guys started doing this fun in the country basement stuff. I had no idea who Chris was. Never.
I'm not even sure how I found Walter, but like he got started right about the same time I did, and so like him and James from Print and Play. I always call him Plug and Play. Print and Play. Like I just Ron, Happy Extruder Ron. Like I just try to grab everybody and drag them with me. Not that I had the same power that Joel did, but I wanted to.
Right? What do you got? You got to be in the 2,000 or 3,000 now at least, aren't you?
4523.
Yeah. Well, you're about 7,000 after Joel introduced you, and then about 2,000 dropped off.
5,500 is about where I maxed out, and then over the next year it dropped down. I was down to about 4,400, and then I got back up to about 4,480, and it hung there for the longest time. Well, I joke around and say it's when I stopped making content it started to go up again. But it was the night that we had Chuck on Fun in the Country Basement. Like all of a sudden, I picked up like 35 subscribers since then.
Yeah, Chuck's good too. I like Chuck.
Oh, Chuck's a great
he
guy.
loses me. I'm glad he's kind of pulling away, and it kind of sucks to say it, but he's pulling away from his Adreno-y, boardy stuff. He starts talking about that crap, and I'm completely lost.
Yeah, no, because it's not boring. It's amazing stuff if you're into that.
Yeah, I'm kind of into it. I just don't understand it.
Oh yeah,
it's not something I've gotten into yet. I probably will in the future. But trying to watch him when he's talking about it, like his own little board he built.
Yeah,
I watched the video, but I probably got about 5% of what he was talking about.
Yeah, no, he's super smart.
Hey, you get in here, Knack. I want to see how's that belt unit going. Yeah, I know you were working on that thing last night.
I got stuck with Walter at Murph, and that's all it took.
Have you seen that thing he's working on?
I have. I've actually I got to see some pictures before anybody else did.
He's got the board that slides in and out, and it's all freaking plugged in, and that thing's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
Only $5,000 probably by the time he's done.
Yeah, I don't even know what I have in the FK1. I don't yet want to know.
It's probably not that bad.
I'm thinking, not actually what I have into it because I have a lot of sponsorship on it, but I'm thinking it's probably pretty close to $3,000.
Well, I was gonna say 2. If you were to go out and buy everything, it would probably be 2.
Oh no, definitely more than 2.
Yeah, because I'm just about $1,000 with this.
Yeah,
and that's really not that much different. I got the duet. The only you got is more extrusions.
Yeah, well,
extrusion's bigger, which is money.
The bigger bed, the heater, Can
you see me now?
Hey,
there he is. There's that printer belt.
There.
That thing is huge.
It's not huge. It's enormous. I'm trying to compete with Glenn. Can't you tell?
The FK1 is enormous. That thing's huge.
Hence the reason that the FK1 got named Groot.
Groot. Oh, is that what you named it? Groot?
It's Dutch for I am huge.
I am
Is that what
huge.
Groot actually means?
Yep.
I didn't
Wouldn't
know that.
surprise me.
I am huge. Groot. I am Groot.
Now Carl's going to make me feel guilty because I'm just sitting here and he's actually working on stuff.
Dude, I'm not doing anything either.
Well, I have a little bit of a deadline, so
Yeah, what would that deadline be?
I have to have this one and another one built before Murph.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. No, I have until the last weekend of February to have the FK1 back tuned up and the heater put on and it ready to go. And then hopefully, I don't even know what the venue is for Gainesville Maker Fair this year, but I hope it's better than last year because I don't think the power in there is sufficient to run this thing.
Yeah. You really don't need to run it, though.
Oh, yeah. People got to see it go.
Freaking big to run. I mean, what are you even going to print on that? You got to do like a whole bunch of little baby sized, like,
I printed
stuff.
I printed the I don't know if I have them. They might still be boxed up, but I printed the little Makey robots. The ones that are just like an inch tall. And everybody was like, that big old printer and you're printing that tiny little thing. And I said, because I don't want to do a 14-day print. I want to print something I can give away. So that thing, it was spitting them out about every 9 minutes. And I'd pop it off and just hand it to some kid.
Yeah. Well, that's what's good about that. Or you can print like 20 of them at a time.
Yeah.
What do you got for a nozzle? Do you put a regular 0.4 on that?
It's a 0.4.
Well, so I went to 0.6
Like
on this.
1.0 and then print a skateboard deck.
Yeah, well, I ordered a 0.6 for it. Amazon shipped it. It never showed up.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
No, that's a different one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that one I got my order, but there was no nozzle in it.
Dude, order direct. I ordered direct from Micro Swiss because.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start ordering everything from printed solid and quit messing with Amazon and 3D printed stuff.
Yeah,
That's the smartest thing I've heard you say yet, Glenn.
Oh, I love printed solid.
The only reason I ordered
Micro Swiss
my
is my nozzle choice.
Yeah, the only reason I ordered the E3D hot end from Amazon was because I had a credit and I wanted to use it. So, but that was stupid.
I know a lot of people think I talk up printed solid because they're close, but they are so fast on shipping. The times I don't walk in the store to get it, I don't know why anybody wouldn't buy from them.
No, well,
yeah, they're quick.
Dave and Matt are awesome guys. So
yeah, you know the problem with them are I can see them outgrowing themselves really fast. Matter of fact, I think they already are, which is why they went into the second building.
Yeah, and they're looking
separated off.
I think they're looking for a new space too.
Yeah, they look like they're already crowded to me. Because taking over the maker box, that's got to take half that building.
The problem is the original building. There's this old building next to it that's condemned. It's going to be torn down. The owner of their property is planning on building a bigger set of storage, like business things like they have now.
Yeah.
In that space where that condemned building is and their existing building. So they're eventually going to tear their main building down. So sooner or later, they're going to end up kicking them out of that building to build a newer, bigger space.
He should buy the property. He's got to be doing it right now.
I think Matt's really hoping that since they're already a renter, that he can convince them to tailor the new building to their needs up front. So they'd be able to just move out for a while. They build this new space, and then they move into this building tailored to them.
Right.
But that's going to happen, nobody knows.
Yeah, but
they cut a long enough lease, and most owners will do that.
Yeah. Well, he should be. I mean, his profit. He's going to be eating profits up renting. He should be looking into just buying a building at this point. They're good enough. They're big enough. They're gonna match Matter Hackers in the next year or two. They pretty much are the East Coast Matter Hackers now.
Yeah.
Don't ever let Matt hear you say that.
Yeah, no.
Why not?
There's not any animosity between the two of those guys.
No.
Oh, why they don't get along?
That's an understatement. Let's put it this way. I don't know when I bought from Matter Hackers, but I feel guilty when I get the email from them every once in a while. And I'll be honest, I haven't bought from them since, and I do my best. I didn't call it out by name just because I don't want to single myself out and become a total enemy of Matter Hackers, so I'm pretty sure they know I just like them.
Oh, there goes Glenn. He froze up.
No.
But
there you go. You're back.
Chris Riley paid $5 more on their Black Friday sale for that Bondtech BMG than he could have bought it from straight from Printed Solid on their normal price. I couldn't help but laugh.
Oh yeah, I got my BMG.
Sorry for Chris.
$5 cheaper.
Like a great deal.
Yeah, well, I got a commission off that, so.
I bought my BMG off of Printed Solid because they were $5 cheaper than Matter Hackers, and I get it quicker.
Yep.
They're
and if you waited for their Black Friday sale, you got it even cheaper.
I got mine directly from Bondtech. And it was super cheap because they gave it to me under sponsorship.
Scumbag.
Hey Glenn, ask me how many sponsors I've got for this.
How much? What?
How many sponsors I have for this project?
How many?
None. Zero. Zippo.
This is all funded by me. Let's see. I think Walter might have bought $5 worth. No, I take it back. He bought $20 worth of parts for it off my wish list. He bought me a Natsuha fan for it.
But I'll tell you what, you will not get sponsorship if you don't ask for it.
No, that's true.
I mean, I wrote up.
Well, I tried to get Duet to give me the Duet board, and the best they would do is we'll give you 10% off. We just ask that you write up a little write-up on our forum.
Forum, yeah, that's what they asked me for too.
I can get 10% off just by going to see Matt at Printed Solid.
Exactly. I buy enough of Matt at Printed Solid, I bet you I get more than 10% off at this point.
But yeah, I wrote up a whole business plan, like a whole business proposal. And
that's what you do for a living, so.
Well, I mean, that's what I used to seek out sponsorship. You know, I told them what I was going to do for them and what I wanted them to do for me. And the only ones that told me no was Bondtech. They said, you know, like we're very busy. We have a hard time keeping up with our own demands currently, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, that was before I released any photos or anything about it. And once I released that stupid little trailer video with the renderings, I reached back out to them and I said, I just want to give you one more shot. And they were like, yeah, we want in on that.
What's up, Raz?
See, the fun thing for me is this is the first printer I've ever built.
Well, that was the first printer I ever built. I mean, I assembled
from scratch, yeah.
No, I've never assembled a printer. I mean, I've rebuilt half a dozen Da Vinci's now, but Da Vinci's all I had ever worked on before I decided I was building this.
Yeah.
Well, my very first printer I ended up building because it was such a piece of crap. That's how I learned about 3D printing, because I got one of them M3D micro pieces of junk, and first thing you do when you get one of them is tear it apart and fix everything they did wrong.
Sounds about right.
Oh, God, that thing. I cannot believe that company is still in business. I really just can't believe it. They need to go away, which I didn't know. Angus was talking about that today, talking about them. I didn't realize they're actually owned by the company that owns Kickstarter.
Well, that's probably why they're still around then.
Yeah. Well, that's how they make everything. It's because they've got the advertising budget of zero because the mother company pays for it all.
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually Kickstarter, but it's one of those marketing companies that works with Kickstarter or funds Kickstarter or something. I don't know. He was talking about it today, and I was just like, that makes sense. That's the only way they can. I mean, that company is so terrible. Everyone's making a big deal about that stupid crane they were coming out with. Did you see that at Earth? You didn't see that at Earth? Because they had it there.
I saw it, but nobody saw it actually printing anything worth a darn.
No, but all I had to do was look at it, and I know they're using the same crappy motors and everything. They're using little old CD drive motors to drive the extruders. They're little itty-bitty stepper motors. Huh?
They were all the way down. Okay, you know where my booth was.
Right.
If you walked
They were
down
almost all the way in the back.
past the glitter printer, all the way down at the end on the left, right next to the CPOSC, the Central PA Open Source Conference booth.
Right.
Yeah,
Joel
they
Walker.
were right next to Slice.
Huh.
They were Slice was on the corner and they were on the other corner.
Huh. No, I missed that.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
They had
Yeah, but I
And there he goes. Frozen.
a pause for me probably. So they had the
Pause for effect, Glenn.
they had a multicolor vase printing with the Quantic, so it's just doing a constant transition between 4 colors. So
Yeah.
you could mix any color. And then they had this beautiful castle with scenery and everything that was supposedly printed with it. Just
Yeah,
sitting
no,
there.
it's-
I'm
it's
sitting there
not.
going,
They were actually printing with it when I went up and looked at it, but it wasn't doing anything. It was just like 2-color crap. It's like doing a Marvin or something out of 2-color.
I kind of called him out. I called him out at some point somewhere about the fact that no one ever sees them printing that castle. So then, like, 2 days later, they posted a time lapse of that castle printing. I can't find it anymore because I called out the fact when they posted it on Twitter that it was supposedly printing that castle. And I'm like, where's the purge block? It printed. They were showing it printing on that print bed, and no purge block. There's no way that thing instantly changes between colors.
Oh, look, Glenn in stereo.
yeah. Well, I guess I didn't fix my problem, did I?
Nope. You froze right up like a freaking popsicle. And
Yeah, and of course now nothing's configured.
oh, yeah, gray screen. Gotta love that.
All right. So now,
Glenn, there's an easy fix to that. Get a
Who's the
Mac.
person that keeps doing, I don't remember what stream it
Get a
is.
Mac, Glenn. Get a Mac.
Set up with their OBS.
what's that?
I forget whose stream I was watching like a week ago, and I've seen him a couple of times. He's got a green screen set up that I'm assuming he's using with OBS, and he's got it set up to where it imposes a downward view of his printer behind him while he's talking.
Oh,
First time I saw it, I thought he had a printer that took up the entire back of his room until I realized what it was.
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I saw, who was it? God, I know who it is, too. They had, like, fish and stuff behind him. He was, like, in an aquarium.
I just got a notification that I joined the call.
Welcome to the call.
You joined the call from yourself.
Yeah, I'm still in here twice, but
Yeah, well, you're not even really in here because you're gray screen. Now you just went black screen. And now you're just in here again. Now
I
there's
see me.
two of you.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
can't see ya.
Well, I'm actually going to bug out because I got to go put the kids to bed. But this was fun. We'll do it again sometime.
Sure. I'm usually on every night now that I'm not working.
That's usually how it starts, and then you get addicted to YouTube.
No, not really. I'm already irritated with it. To be honest with you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Takes up too much. Oh, there he is. Look, he's back just in time to go away.
Yeah, Glenn.
All right. Good night,
Later,
guys.
Glenn. Now are both Glenn's going to disappear? Just one.
That one's probably stuck in the stream forever now.
Yep. Actually, can I boot? Oh, he's got both of them sitting there. Oh, they both disappeared. Anyway, I'm not going to hang much longer either, but I'll hang until 9:30, I guess.
Have you ever used these the Ziltech snap-in T-nuts?
No, the only Zealtech I have is I bought their motors for that because they were the best / cheapest. Because I got bigger motors for the Core XY than normal.
Well, I'm
And
gonna
they
tell
were quite a bit cheaper.
you thing with aluminum rail.
Yeah, you're talking a spring-loaded T-nut.
If you don't get the spring-loaded T-nut, you're a fool.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and when I built that, they were like 10 times the price. So I got slip-in ones that aren't spring-loaded, but they're solid. They're not spinning, and I have spinning for the few areas I needed it. Mostly where I forgot I needed it and I didn't slide it in there. I was going to take the whole thing apart to get the one nut in there.
Well, imagine trying to put slip-ins on a 45-degree axis.
Yeah, you can't. Well, you can. I figured out a cheat because I did it at a 90-degree axis. I just used blue tape behind it. Then you can place it wherever you want. I literally just take a piece of blue tape and wrap it around it and then take a utility knife and cut it off. And that's just enough to hang it up inside there. So it probably 80-90% of the time it stays where I put it. Like 10 or 20% of the time it disappears.
Yeah, I think it's what, $23 for 100 of them. And when I got this thing, I don't want to speak ill of anybody, but the person who built this 500 cube before me used regular old square nuts. You can see all the R marks in this old extrusion where he torqued it down so tight it bent the extrusion.
Yep.
But I was like, I tried to use them. Like, good Lord, how did anybody ever put a 3D printer together with these things? And I heard.
Oh, what are you talking about? The little flat metal one?
When Glenn said he was using these, I ordered them. I'm like, oh heck yeah.
Yeah, no, I was gonna get spring nuts, but they were like, I get 100 T nuts for the price of 10 spring nuts, so I couldn't justify it. I got all mine from like Banggood or something. I think I got a bag of 100 of them. Actually, I got 2 bags of 50. That's what it was for like $4.99 shipped.
Yeah, these were like, I want to say it's like $23.99 for the bag of 100.
Yeah, where I got them for $4.99. But yes, if I were going to build another one, I would not think twice about it. I would spend the money and get spring loaded because it is definitely worth it.
Yeah, I'd have to say this would be the one of this whole build. If I take anything that Glenn said and I applied it and used it to my benefit, would be to get those spring loaded.
Yeah, and there's different versions of those now too. There's some cheaper that are like did you get the BB ones?
Yeah.
Or did you get because they have like a leaf spring one now that's like a little bit cheaper.
No, this is the. It probably won't show up on the camera, but
yeah, I know
it's a little BB style.
Yeah. Like I said, they have a leaf spring where it's like a little piece of a leaf spring like cut into the back of it, and it's just enough to drag and catch. They're a little bit cheaper, but not a lot. Yep, I have to go to bed soon. Mr. Bertram. What is up? Didn't even notice he was in here.
I haven't looked at chat in a while.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was BSing with Glenn.
I just been sitting here trying to get this wired up.
I so want Joel to send him that video. Because that will be funny as all hell if he has that. Not knowing what it's for. Because I told Joel, were you there when he came on?
No.
He came on Don's stream the other night.
The other day, but not Joel.
Because Joel came on Don's stream the other night. And everyone else was kind of, ooh and ah and over him. So I left him alone until the very end. I said, dude, can you do me a big favor and send this video to Glenn?
I always
that's a brilliant idea, dude. I'll do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I know he's busy and everything.
I always joke that Joel avoids me. And everybody tells me it's my imagination, but I've been to 3 events with him that he's been there. And I've gotten the very polite, oh, yeah, I know you. And then he walks right on and talks to other people. Or, oh, hi, and the shoulder bump, and he walks right on by me, and I don't get another word in edgewise. And I understood the very first time, because the first time he blew me off was at Murph. But he was under contract with Matter Hackers that he didn't have anything to do with Printed Solid, and I had a Printed Solid shirt on. I was working their booth, so he stayed clear of me.
Yeah. Well, he's a Matter Hackers. I mean, Matter Hackers still supporting him, so.
They must not be as much as they were before because he did that meetup thing at Printed Solid right before Black Friday.
Yeah, but he did printed solid long before Matter Hackers, anyways. He did a printed solid walkthrough way back in the beginning of time.
Oh yeah. No, I mean he just did that one recently too.
Yeah, well, he just did that like a month ago.
Yeah.
But I think he's one of those that would just tell him, you can be sponsoring me, but I'm still going to deal with I'm not going to alienate people just because you don't like them. I don't think he really needs Matter Hackers much anymore.
I don't think he's under contract with them anymore, to be honest. Yeah. I think he had an exclusive contract for like those first 6 months because they helped him get started in it.
Yeah, I think that was just a cushion for him. I don't even think he needed it when he did it. I think that was just his it was his cushion, you know. It was that little ramp up he needed to say, okay, I can do this. Once you hit that 100,000, you got to start making money. And plus, you know, he does the Etsy store. And, yeah. You know, he's selling his own T-shirts because he's got a merch millionaire doing it. So he's got to be making money beyond YouTube. Patreon, I give him $1 every month from Patreon. I give him $1.
I don't give anybody money on Patreon.
I do. I do $5. I give him $1. I give Angus $1. I give Tom $1. I give Chuck $1, and somebody else.
I haven't even signed up with Patreon yet, and I was just starting to think about doing it, and now there's all this controversy about whether they were Patreon. So I'm like, nope, I'm gonna ride it out.
Everybody's whining about it again, all because of what's her name? Who I get it, and I get why they did it, and I get why she's pissed, but I really don't care.
I think Garrett was talking. He was having issues with him too. I could care less what Miss Wu says.
Yeah. I mean, she's all right. I don't even subscribe to her anymore because.
Yeah, I got tired of all the drama that was with her posts and.
Yeah. Half the time I can't understand what the hell she's saying. So.
Well, I got mad when I saw the video where she called all Americans white sexist pigs or something like that. I forget what the exact phrase was she used, but I'm like, wow, okay, just like group us all together. All right, yeah.
Whatever. She's fun to look at. That's about it.
Exactly.
And I know you can tell she's an intelligent girl. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
You're her light emitting beret or whatever it was.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't get if you want to be, that obvious and flaunt your sexuality, that's fine. But then don't get pissed off when people react to it.
Yeah.
You're putting it out there to view. There's going to be guys that go, holy crap, she's hot, and I'm going to, drool over that.
Don't objectify me as a woman just because I wear, less
just
clothes.
Because I'm objectifying myself as a woman, yeah. I just don't get that attitude.
I'm sorry. This is probably the male pig version of me coming out. But I've always thought if women wear skimpy clothes, it's because they want you to look at them and admire their body. That's why they're wearing it. They want it. Don't get mad if I stare if you're showing me half your fit with the dress you're wearing.
Exactly. I'm just human. It's a natural. That's like saying a dog is an evil thing because there's another dog in heat over there and it wants to go hump it.
I'm pretty.
That's just nature. I can control it and not be a total pig, but it's still my brain's still gonna go. Holy crap! Look at that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're genetically programmed to look. That's the whole way the species populates.
Yeah, that's kind of a that's part of instinct. And I can control it, and I can be polite and not be rude. And there's guys I'm sure who are obnoxious, but you got to expect that.
It's like I interviewed for this one job, and I walk in there, and these two guys and a woman doing the interview, and the woman's wearing this super low cut top. I walked in, and as soon as I walked through the door, I noticed her top. So I'm like, okay, I cannot look down for any reason during this interview now because that's exactly what she's looking for. So I walked in, made eye contact with everybody. I never even looked down at the table in front of me for the mistake that my eyes might glance past. I just kept bouncing between their eyes the entire time.
That's wrong too, though.
It's like I looked at their eyes and I looked at the ceiling. There was no way I was ever gonna make the mistake of glancing down. That would have been just one reason for her to go, not that guy. He was weird.
Yeah. It's just all, I don't know. I mean, they're right in a way. There's guys that take advantage of it, but then that's not everyone.
Did you ever see the video? This woman put a camera in the center of her bra and then walked down like 3 New York City blocks, saying that because she had big boobs, she couldn't walk around town without being harassed. So she's walking around town, and I gotta admit, like 30 people said something to her. 4 of them were like, just walked by, looked at her, smiled, said, "How you doing?" and kept right on walking. Just a nice, polite hi, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or everybody else like, "Hey, baby, what you doing?" Rude marks. But they were counting all of the insult marks, and then every time someone glanced, they had it where it had the eye capture. So the minute you actually where the camera was, it would ring a bell.
Yep.
I was like, come on.
But then, of course, she's probably wearing something flaunting because she's got a camera down there. So,
Exactly.
she's got most of that exposed. So, of course, they're going to look because she's flaunting it to them.
I said, have her wear a sweatshirt and walk down the same street and tell me how it works out.
Yeah, exactly. Wear a sweater.
And a bunch of people called her out because said one guy was just really nice and polite and just, looked at her, said hi, and almost made it past her without looking at her at all. The glance down.
Yeah, he did the side look.
Yeah. He tried to do it discreet at least. But she called him out for the count of being harassed walking down the street. And everybody called her out. It's like, a guy says hello to you, and that's harassment? Maybe your standards are a little too high.
Yeah, no. There's just... And again, I get it. There are pigs in the world, and, sexual harassment is definitely a real thing in the workplace. But now they've gotten to the point where you can't even be polite.
Yeah.
You literally have to be rude to them or else it's sexual harassment. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, no, you gotta walk past them and ignore them to not be accused of harassment.
Yeah, and then they get mad because you're ignoring them, and you're ignoring the women in the business place. Well, you're making us. I don't know. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You can't win either way.
We had this one girl when I was in the military. They were during the war. They were actually paying, or they would do plastic surgery if you paid for the supplies. That way, it was practice for fixing scars and whatever else from people that were injured downrange. This girl wanted breast augmentation, so she bought the implants, and they did all the rest of the surgery for free. She showed up at a Christmas party with one of those dresses that was split all the way down to her belly button and beyond. And if you walk by and made eye contact with her, she goes, "No, you can look. I think I wore this dress to not show them all." We're like,
I don't know. It's the whole world's going nuts. Just like this big thing going on here in Connecticut. We had there was 4 kids that were terrorizing a town, beating up old people, robbing stores, doing all kinds of stuff. The cops cornered them. There was 3 or 4 of them in a car. They kept backing up the car and getting out, and they finally got out of the, because the cops jammed them in, and they got out of their cars and kind of, pointed the guns, get out of the car, get out of the car, get out of the car. Kids didn't get out of the car. They backed up, almost ran over a couple of the cops, ran over some garbage cans, and got out of the roadblock that the cops had made, got around it. So the cops started shooting the car. Now there's 28 shots, which sounds excessive, but it's not, because there's 6 cops, and they all shot at it, and they shot until the car stopped. Plain and simple. That's not excessive force. If the kids had stopped and gotten out of the car and been arrested, they wouldn't have gotten shot. Not one shot was fired until they got around that barricade and were out in the open. And you better believe, as far as I'm concerned, those cops can fire all they want. They can put 100 bullets in that car. You keep firing until those people are stopped.
Oh yeah, we had a shooting at the Walmart by where I used to work, and cops spotted a guy that wasn't supposed to be there. He was he'd been already banned from that property for stealing. Cop knew it. Cop knew him, and confronted him. The guy jumped in his car. He had two choices. He could turn and go towards the cop, or he could turn and go out the other end of the parking lot. He aimed the car at the cop. Cop pulled his gun and shot him dead.
Yeah, as he should. But that's what I'm saying is he
was unarmed. He was unarmed. I'm like, he was behind a moving vehicle. The minute he aimed it at the cop, it was no longer a vehicle. It was a weapon.
Weapon, exactly. You can kill the cop with that car. It's like I'm saying with these kids. The parents going excessive force. They didn't need to shoot them. They're not bad kids. Well, they've been terrorizing the town. There was they beat up old ladies and stuff. They burglarized 2 or 3 gas stations or mini marts or whatever. I mean, they terrorized the town for 2 days straight before they got caught. So I don't care at that point. They're criminals. And they're like, oh, well, they didn't have to shoot them. Well, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, my life or yours, I'm picking mine every time.
They trapped the car in. The kids went to the excessive point of backing that car and almost running over a couple of cops who still didn't shoot them until after they got away and got out of the car, because the cops blocked them in, basically made a blockade in there with the cop cars. And they got around the blockade. And at that point, that's when they started shooting. Justifiable.
Yep.
These parents are saying, oh, it's excessive force, and, one of them, the child died because of excessive force. There's no excessive force there. For one, your kid went into a grocery store with a deadly weapon and threatened people. At that point, there is no excessive force. Your life is forfeit as far as I'm concerned. The minute you hold a gun and threaten somebody else of deadly force, your life is forfeit. That's my attitude. I don't care what color you are, who you are, what nationality. You walk into a store or a gas station with a gun and threaten somebody, done. If you get killed, that's your own damn problem. There is no excessive force in that point. You have no rights. And that's what they need to enforce. Criminals don't have rights. Stop making criminals the freaking victims. They're criminals.
I jump for joy every time you read some story where somebody tried to do a school shooting and some off-duty officer or whatever shot and killed the person, and you're like, good.
Yeah.
Because you're hoping to get the point that I might not get away with it. I might get killed. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Instead of glorifying the kids that go in there and do that. Number 1 terrorist in the United States, white American male. Teenager. Everyone's like, no, that's not true. It most certainly is. The number 1 terrorist in the United States is the white teenager. White male teenager. It's sad, but true.
That's true. I can never remember how to wire these darn steppers.
What do you mean? Oh, they're not pre-wired?
Well, they were, but I've made this custom wiring harness, so
you snipped it.
Not so much.
That's when I always put an inline plug somewhere. No way I can just plug them in and unplug them again. But I decide to switch them or switch the pins, or it's just so much easier if you just unplug it and move stuff. I was going to do that to this, and I should have, and I didn't. The only problem with that is it's one more connection that can come loose.
I'm just hoping I'm wiring them right. I'm hoping I don't have them flipped.
That's what shuffling is.
They could be one of 2 ways. It's like, well, I'm 50-50 on this. Because when I first had it hooked up and running was with these stepper motors that were on the 500 cube back here, and they're pre-wired.
Yeah, same thing. Where'd you get them?
What's that?
Where'd you get them?
No idea. They came with the printer.
One of those. Yeah, it's the same thing as these.
But I don't like
They're
clean
bigger.
wire, and unfortunately now I have no idea which way. It could be either way. I'm like, eh.
Well, don't they have a brand name on them somewhere?
Nope.
Almost every brand that you can tell what the wiring is.
Nope.
Well, there's
No
a way
name.
you can do it. There's a way you can do it with the meter too. I don't know exactly how, but there's a way you can tell if it's an open connection.
I mean, I know I've got these wired right. The question is, are they 180 out?
Yeah. Well, there's only way to find out, and that's to fire it up.
Yeah, exactly. I won't know if it works right until I fire it up, and then I'll go. Unfortunately, the connectors that Duet uses are keyed, so I can't just flip the plug over and go, but I'll have to pop the pins and flip them and then put it back together.
Right. It's not that big a deal. It sucks, but it's not that big a deal.
Is this the stuff you were saying you hate, the spiral loom?
What?
You were saying yesterday you were talking about you hate when people use something on the wiring harnesses. Was it the spiral loom?
Yeah, the regular wrap, that stuff's obnoxious. I mean, I know it's their business, but it's a waste. And the wire, that wiry, stretchy crap, expando, whatever they call it.
Yeah, I hate that because you have to pull the wire out of it. You can't unwrap it even.
Yeah, that's why I use the automotive crap. Because the split loom is fire retardant for one. It's heat resistant. It's self-sustaining structurally. So it doesn't need to be supported. Well, I had to support it on my big one because it was just too long and it drooped. It didn't it didn't flop onto the ground, but it still drooped in the middle. And I just didn't like the look. It wasn't hurting anything. I just didn't like the look of it. They don't, when it flexes, when you use like the chains or even that other stuff, you always get the area of flex and you get one spot. Or if you use the wire chains, when it's moving back and forth, there's just a small area where that one bend is that it's sitting there vibrating. It's just like taking a wire and bending it until it breaks. And people are like, "Oh no, it's protecting." It's like, no, it's not. It's just like you taking it and bending it. Granted, but it's doing it in one small area. Where if you use the plastic wire loom like I use, it's the whole arc flexes. When you move it, there's no one spot flexing. It's the whole loom flexing. And that fabric-y stuff, that wrap fabric that expands and stuff, that flexes at each end because it has no structural support at all. So once you put that clamp on there, wherever it's bending at that clamp. That stuff's stupid. That's even worse than the regular slow wrap. That wrap crap. I had that when I first got the Max Micron. God, that didn't last a freaking day. I wasn't going to sit there and wrap that crap all damn day long. I went out and got some wire loom out of the garage. I used to build dragsters, so I had that stuff from the freaking 70s and 80s laying around. Granted, it was all dry rot and didn't last long. And it wasn't red. See, I had to get red. That one's red. You can't see it. There you go. Red.
That's it.
Split loom. That one's got purple. Split loom. See, this is self-supporting.
Yeah, I like that. I thought you found purple PTFE at first.
No, that's split loom automotive crap. Cheap. And again, my biggest thing with it is it's self-supporting. It doesn't sag. I mean, that does. I had to put a wire inside of it because it's too long. But
yeah, I'm hoping I have enough wire in it, and once I add the PTFE on the outside, it tends to sag a little bit in the middle. But honestly, I don't mind that because then you're not brushing for here. I'm not brushing against the ceiling.
You're still gonna have all of your flex at the two ends with that. There's no structural. I mean, it'll take some of it out. It's kind of like having a rubber ends, but it's still going to happen at the end. When this does it 100% the whole length of it, there is no one point of stress. The two ends don't, if I move this thing around and you watch it move, that whole wire loom moves as a whole and flexes as a whole. There's no one spot of flex. There's no one stress spot. even the ends are in a single stress spot. It distributes it through the whole length of the wire loom. And only that stuff does that. There's no other type that I've seen of wire cover that evens out the stress spot. Because it's semi-rigid. It's not really flexible. It's basically rigid with a corrugated body into it, so it flexes with the corrugation.
So it's not. I thought what you were showing me, it's not this stuff here. Oh, you can see it good enough.
Yeah, it's split.
You can split it down the seam like this.
Yeah, it's split loom.
Okay. This doesn't have much form to it at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it still has more than PTFE tubing or just wire wrap.
Oh, no, this is pretty heavy duty PTFE tubing.
Granted, but I guarantee you it's still going to do more flexing at either end than it does throughout the length of it. Or that stuff does it throughout the whole length of it. Same with, this is unsupported. I mean, it's drooping. You can see it drooping. But when that head moves, it flexes up here the whole length of it. It doesn't flex right here. This doesn't move at all. All the flexing is up in the middle of the run. And it's even through the length of it. Because of its rigidity. Now, you might have a smaller body. That's the one thing is I am using, that's 1/2 inch, and that's actually 3/4 over there. The purple's 3/4. Yeah, you got to use a large enough one, but.
Yeah, that's, what is that, I think that's 3/8 water tubing.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than most, don't get me wrong, it's still going to work. And you're not going to have any, if you're using silicone wires and everything, you're not going to have any problems for years down the road. I mean, even a regular wire, the wire chains, whatever you call them, those are, it's not going to happen immediately because you're not just sitting there bending it at one location constantly. But when you start doing a lot of single motions, it's going to happen. It's one of the biggest complaints with, I don't know if you follow the guys that do the FT5 with Folger Tech. There's a lot of complaints about that thing because they undersized the cable chain, put too many wires in it, and they're snapping cables in it.
Well, that was the reason. That's the biggest problem with the Da Vinci is you start getting X-axis skips because they ran a cable. I don't know if you watched my video. They ran the one. They looped it along the edge.
Yeah.
So it came down to this hard 90-degree back again, and it was just in wire wrap. This stuff.
And it's the only reason I don't like ribbon cable. I hate ribbon cable.
Well, it's like I'm replacing it with ribbon cable, but I'm doing a much lighter bend in the Da Vinci.
Well, you're using it as a stationary too.
What's that?
It's a stationary. It's not a continuous flex. It's only flexing when you're moving the board.
Yeah.
You're not using that as an actual moving cable.
It's more of a swinging cable.
Yeah, it's a stationary cable. While units in operation, it's not moving. The only time you move it is when you go to, work on the printer. That ribbon cable.
Well, no, it moves when it's printing.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, but like I said, I'll change camera views here just a sec.
Ribbon cable will bust under movement for any length of time. Stuff's terrible.
Well, I've got a couple 100 hours on one of my Da Vincis that I did this upgrade to, and I haven't had a single issue with it.
Can't stand ribbon cable. Every time I use it, it breaks.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so the original design that they had was they had a loom that was hooked on top like this.
Yeah.
And it looped on the end and went like this back and forth.
Oh, see, that's like the same stuff I got.
And it was regular wrap stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's what that is.
They had it zip tied here and here. So it would all the way back. Well, it would always, you see the one spot that's always doing all the flexing. It's right there where it's mounted.
Yeah.
So it would wear weak spots in it. Every once in a while, you just also get this X shift, and you're like, what the heck happened? You got to shorten your wire. So what I did was I ran ribbon cable, and I ran my cable chain up like this. You see how much movement I've got?
Yeah, but if you look at it, all your bend is that bend.
That
But
sharp
it's
90-degree bend,
barely
that's all of your flex is in that one spot, basically.
but it's barely moving.
Yeah,
Instead of
there's a lot less. I agree. There's definitely less, and it won't wear out anytime soon.
I think I've got 300 hours on the first one of these I did, and I haven't had to replace it yet.
I don't think I've ever seen a Da Vinci. That's the Da Vinci, huh?
Yep.
I don't think I've ever even looked at one. Weren't they one of the ones that were originally locked with their filaments?
Oh, they still are. That's the first thing I do is flash it with Repeteer so I can run with any filament I want. That was what Chris Riley asked me about. He mentioned on Fun in the Country Base how he sent me a message. Someone got him a XYZ printer, and he asked if it was one of the ones that could be flashed with Repeteer so he could use, aftermarket, non-XYZ filament. Unfortunately, the one they got him cannot flash.
Yeah, you can. You just pull the board out and put something else in it.
Well, you can't flash their board.
Yeah.
I'll be a little more.
You get rid of their board. Actually, those XYZ printers, the few I've seen, because they actually carry those at like Best Buy or something, I think. I saw one. I was checking it out. They look pretty rugged. I mean, they look well built.
Well, I got a lot of
Dremels.
see what I do
Dremels
to
are the
them.
same way.
I've got a lot of people. They see what I do to them, and they want to get one for one reason. They want to be able to print ABS. They want to make one of these an ABS workhorse because it's fully enclosed.
Yeah, see, I don't care about ABS ever. I just have no purpose for it. But I can see why some people would. I'm just not a big fan of it.
I'm just getting to the point where when I'm done doing the video series on that one I just showed you, I'll have 6 working Da Vinci printers, and I do not need 6 working Da Vinci printers.
So you should send me one. Seriously. I'm trying to get Chris to get me a couple of his kits that he can't get built. It's not like I don't have time. I'm the perfect person to send it to. I have time.
I may
My point would be is, I'd build it for him and do a quick review, and then half break it down, mail it back to him. He could put it back together. I don't want to keep it necessarily, but here he is contracted, not contracted necessarily, but I guess he said he had 6 or 8 printers sitting there that he's got to review that he's just not going to get time to.
I keep
send them to me.
That I would love it if G-Tech would send me a printer to review. I want their, I think it's I'm not sure which model it is. I think it's the A30M is the one I want. Whatever one's the 300 by 300 base with the mixing nozzle.
Yeah, the M20.
Well, the 20 is only 200 by 200, if I'm not mistaken.
No, the M10 is 200. The M10 is the same thing as the basic, Prusa. It's 220 cubed. The M20 is 300 cubed. And actually, I think the M20 isn't even 300 cubed. It's like 220 by 400 by 300 tall or something. It's got a real long bed.
Or a real wide bed. I can't remember which way it is, but it's not a perfect cube.
Yeah, because I know when I
remember, that's the one I want too.
Right size. I got to look at the models again because it's not what you think it would be. Because I was looking, I'm going, well, that's not the way they're supposed to be sized, but okay.
Yeah, no, it's long on one side with their models. It's like one side is 220, one side is 190, and then the height is 200 or something. It's kind of like the Flash Forges are and that kind of stuff. They're a weird size.
My best friend, he can't grasp why I'm building this printer and I'm not trying to sell it. I don't think he completely understands the whole open source movement.
Yeah.
But I'm I said, for me, it's more for notoriety. I said, I make a big enough impact with this. It will grab attention. It will get me subscribers. It will start getting other companies looking at me going, hey, do you want to test our printer? It has an end goal that will work in my favor.
Okay, where is it?
And maybe Joel Teller will stop and talk to me for more than 5 minutes. Or, I'm sorry, 1 sentence.
Don't get all freaking bitchy and whiny.
No, like I said, it's my running joke now.
shopping. Not shop G-Tech. Why can't I even find one? Oh, because it's the 20M, not M20.
Yeah, Midnight Giant told me I was over blowing it out of proportion because we were at New York Maker Fair. I walked up to Joe and introduced myself. He goes, "Oh, I know who you are. I couldn't forget that beard anywhere."
Yeah, that's what it is. The A20M is 255 cubed, and the A10 is 200 cubed. So you're only getting that 55 millimeter cube for the extra.
You can't
extra
go to the
almost
300.
twice the price.
To get to the full 300, you got to go to like the M30 or M40.
The A10M is 220 by 220 by 260. So it's actually taller than the 20. The 20 is just 250 cubed, where the A10 is 220 by 220 by 260. So you can actually do a taller one on the A10 that's only $185. The A20 is $365. So it's twice the price, and you're only getting 30 millimeters X and Y, and you're losing 5 millimeters on Z.
Yeah, what's it say the A30 is going to be?
I don't think the A30 is even out yet, is it? I know they
A30M out yet, but the A30 is.
The A30, but not the mixer.
Right.
The A30 is even smaller. It's 320 by 320 by 420.
But it's 320 by 320.
Oh, right. I was thinking it was 230. Yeah, right. So it's 320 by 320 by 240 or 420.
That's
so yeah, it's bigger. But that's a boatload more. It's $400 without the mixing head.
Right.
And they don't even have that with the mixing head yet.
I was telling Tom, I said I don't want any new printers that are less than 300 by 300. And he's like, "Well, why?" I said, "Because I already have 6 Da Vinci's that are 200 by 200. I don't need any more 200 sub 200. I need a bigger printer. I can't print that Star-Lord mask in one piece on a 200 by 200, but I can print it on my CRX."
Yeah. I got the 300, and I don't think I've used it yet. I've used like 250 in height doing a vase, but then I don't do, multi-day prints either because I won't run it where it's in this is my bedroom. I am not running that thing overnight. I like my sleep.
That's the one nice thing about this being in my basement. I can hear it when it's running at night. My bedroom's directly above me. But it's not so loud that I can't turn on my TV to drown it out to fall asleep, and it won't wake me up. But if I wake up in the middle of the night, wonder if my print's on, I can be quiet and I can hear the movement going.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that would scare me in the basement, too, because the fire thing scares me.
The way I hate to say it, the way I look at it, I know I can get out of my house quick.
Yeah, it's not even so much getting out. I just don't want to burn my damn house down.
I'm so far in debt and so tired of everything. I'd rather have the insurance check, I think. I'd have to start all over again, but I can't part with the stuff I have because I've got sentimental value to it. But if it all goes up in flames, then I don't have to make the choice. I just got to tell you what it was worth.
I have zero sentimental value to anything anymore. I just don't care.
I mean, both of those jukeboxes have been to Italy and back with me.
Yeah, that wouldn't. If I don't use something in a year, I get rid of it. I don't do sentimental value anymore. Very few. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I still have like 2 small totes of stuff I did in college because I went to college for art and computer design and all that. So I have a lot of my paintings and all that stuff from college. That's it. You know what else I have from college? You're gonna laugh. I went to college in 1985.
I was still in high school in 1985.
Check this out. See that towel right there?
Yeah.
That was my towel from college. It used to be brown, like a deep dark brown. That's how old that towel is. I have 2 of them. And I tell you what, I cannot find a towel to beat them. Those 2 towels back here on my window, we're supposed to replace them. I don't like them as well. There's something about that. That's like some old crusty. They're stiff. They're hard. They work great coming out of the shower. They actually absorb water. The new towels that everyone wants them all soft and fluffy and all that crap, they don't absorb water. I don't get dry using them. I want to get dry. I don't care how soft it is. I want to be dry.
Oh, did I just luck out?
But yeah, I got 2 of those. I still have 2 of my college. They were dark brown, and they're both like that gray now because they actually accidentally went one time into the wash with wipes and got bleached.
No, I grabbed one of those
like gray green.
I grabbed one of those T-nuts and felt like the ball wasn't. You every once in a while you get one where the ball doesn't stick out far enough to engage.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate the spinning kind when they don't spin.
Nope. Ah, man, this is gonna suck.
And they tighten up, but they just tighten up to the body you're trying to trap into the freaking framing. You think it tightens up, so you think it works, and then you go to pull on it, it pops right out. Freaking T-nuts suck. Spinning suck.
I don't know how I'm gonna get this thing back out now. It's sitting right in the way, but it won't engage. It's like Maverick, it won't engage.
Wait a minute, where is it? Let me look. Point it out. I can't see. You gotta talk while you're doing it.
Oh, it's right here. Right here where my finger's at.
Is the other one in already?
Nope.
Because then you can go. I always go in with one of my. Well, I got these. Me and we were talking about these. These are actually magnet tip now. I magnetize the tip, so I can go in from down the channel with it and move the T-nut around. I actually hold it where it's magnet. I can move it around, hold it in place, and then tighten the nut up. That's how I got around getting spring loaded. These are all. I got like 3 of these that are magnetized now.
I got it.
If it's not grabbing it, it's probably because your screw's too short then.
No, it was the problem was it had sunk. The ball bearing wasn't kicking, so it sunk past where it needed to be.
Oh, it went too far down. Yeah.
Yeah. There was
Can you
no
go up from underneath.
no resistance.
You can go up from underneath with like a screw or something.
Nope.
Or a
Not
piece
the way
of
not
wire.
the way this is designed. I can't.
Yeah, you got the end capped.
Yep.
That sucks. Well,
Yeah.
if you got something that's magnetized like these, you can go in from the top.
That was
pull it back
the
up.
next option. That was a paper clip I was using to kind of push and pull on it.
Yeah. Sometimes you can just go in the hole, the actual screw hole, with something smaller and wiggle it around and grab it and kind of slowly walk it back up the rail. I've done that.
So how's yours printing out? You got it all redone.
Huh?
How's your hypercube printing out? You got it all redone.
It's not a hypercube, it's a llama cube.
A llama cube.
It's a llama cube. There's absolutely nothing equivalent to the hypercube on it. It's running very well actually since I started using Idea Maker. That's been the real kicker on it. It's actually running really well now. The only thing I got to do is I have a single motor carrying the bed, which I thought was enough, and it's really not. I mean, it's working, and there's no noticeable banding. But if I'm doing a fairly large print or something, it'll get down about 20 millimeters, and I guess that's just enough weight, and it'll start clicking. You'll hear a wicked click every time it moves, which is telling me I'm putting too much force on that one motor.
Are you running a duet?
Yeah.
Well, you could take a thing from the rail core and you could put 3 Z's on it and have true bed leveling.
I'm actually thinking of that. I'm thinking of doing just that.
When I rebuild the 500 cube, that's what I'm going to do.
I'm thinking I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a bed machined so I get a true flat bed.
Because unfortunately, this belt printer got built with half of the aluminum extrusion from the 500 cube. But
I was hoping I could do that with my, because I bought that Folger Tech CNC machine. I don't know if you saw that thing at Earth.
Don't remember.
The Folder Tech Fortress. Well, my boss bought it. I built it. He bought it on my suggestions. I built it for him on my own time. You know, figuring me and him would just grow off with it and maybe have an easier life in business. And I can't build it. I built mechanically. It's all done. I cannot wire it. I have no idea. There's no directions with the damn thing. The directions are so flighty, and the parts don't match what they're saying. And he doesn't answer. I mean, he does. I shouldn't say he doesn't, but it's so, you know, you got to get a hold of John at Folger Tech, and you ask him a question. He might get back to you like 2 days later, and I'm one of those when I'm working on it, I need to do what I'm doing. If I have to stop and wait 2 days, it'll be a month before I get back into it.
Yeah.
And I just gave up on it because my boss moved to Florida, laid us all off and moved to Florida. So, I mean, he's just down there for the winter, I guess. I don't know. I was under. I think he's staying there. I mean, I still talk to him once or twice a week. But, yeah, it's sitting there. And I mean, if that thing had worked, it's huge for the money. It's only, what, $600, $700? And it's a 2x4. It's 2 foot by 4 foot. It's huge. And it's got a really good spindle motor on it. And it, you know, it's all like 2080, and some of the rails are 4080 rails on it and everything. I mean, mechanically, it's freaking awesome. Electronically, no manuals, no directions.
Electronically, not so much.
And that's, you know, mechanically, I didn't even need directions. I could have freaking put that thing together. It's just like a 3D printer, really. You know, it's bigger and beefier in some areas, but the general concept, once you know what you're doing, it's easy to put together. I put it together in, what, 2 days?
I swear, this cabinet, best $15 I ever spent.
That whole box?
Yeah, and this platform raises and lowers.
What the hell kind is that? Where do I get one?
I got it at a Habitat for Humanity restore.
Oh, that's why.
But I looked it up. I mean, it's probably a couple hundred. I'd say it's probably $1,000. It was a roadie box, but it was designed to hold a TV in it. It would raise and lower.
Oh, yeah, got you. Yeah, no, you ain't getting one of them for $15 or $20 now.
Oh no, I wish I had a second one though.
Kind of wish I had one because I'd love to put that on it. I just built a little plywood, and it's literally all scraps I had out in the garage. It's like half plywood, half hardy board, a couple of legs are they're actually cedar. They're scrap pieces of cedar I had laying around. But then pretty much every cabinet in here is just scrap plywood I got from a job where, you know, go to do a job and you always add that 20% material. And every once in a while, you actually don't need it. I got a massive entertainment center I built here. It's 3 sheets of plywood. That's all it really is.
Yeah, most of my stuff is Lowe's heavy-duty shelving.
Yeah, I build my own. Mine are all routed and datoed, and because that's what I do.
Now, all the cabinet drawers underneath my table here are all Habitat for Humanity $5 and $10 cabinets.
Yeah, we got one of those down the road over in Waterford. My boss shops there all the time. He keeps trying to buy doors there. I'm like, stop buying used crap.
Oh, come on, you stupid
We
thing.
bought a freaking massive Anderson window out of there. Took me twice as long to install it. Another 2 or 3 days to trim it because it's all screwed up. And he's down in Florida with his wife up here right now because she couldn't leave for Florida yet because she just started a new job or something. And I think she works for CVS or Walgreens or one of the pharmacies. Where she just started, they wouldn't transfer her down there until next month. So she's still up here. And she called me up, oh, my window's leaking. I'm like, what do you want me to do about it? Well, you installed it. I said, it was a used piece of crap. There's a reason somebody ripped it out of their house. Stop buying used crap.
Every once in a while, that place gets unused. You know, like, so you can tell if someone ordered the wrong size or.
Oh, yeah. And you could put in used stuff. But don't just go in there and go, hey, that's an Anderson window. That's got to be good. Because just because it's an Anderson window, it's not necessarily good. Somebody could have packaged it wrong, moved it wrong. You got to actually inspect it. You know, he just goes in there and goes, there's an Anderson window for $15. Make it work. It's like, dude, no, it's not that simple. It's like I was just talking to Glenn. I'm gonna start doing it again. But most of the doors, like these closet doors I've already done. These are solid wood closet doors. But our main doors were all Luan in this house, like from the 70s. And I go into Lowe's and Home Depot and hit the, damaged bin for doors.
Yeah.
If I find one that matches the side, is the right swing and everything, and you can get a solid wood interior door that the jamb is screwed up or, a little nick in the corner or something, which I can fix with some putty and paint, and they're $40 instead of $300 or $400 for a solid wood door. Hell yeah. That I'll bring home and fix. But, that's just the door. And all I'm using is the slab. The mechanics I'm using my existing mechanicals. All I'm doing is making a slab work. You can't do that with windows. You can't. I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong, you can. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the equipment to do it. You got to send it off to Anderson to do that.
518.
He's big on rebuilding that old crap. And I'm like, dude, you not get that? Not only does it take you twice as long, it's twice as much work, but it works half as well. Even after you spend all that time fixing it, it's just a waste of time most of the time. Especially exterior. I will never, no more exterior putting used crap up. You want a new door on your front door, you buy me a new door and I'll put it on your house. Other than that, don't go to no Habitat Humanity and buy some $100, 100-year-old piece of junk, $25 door, and then tell me you got to make it work on your house better than the one you already have there.
But it's big.
I am not this old house. I don't have the equipment those guys do. I don't have the patience, and you can't afford. The other thing is people don't realize when they get the bill from me, it's like more than a new door. Oh, it's going to cost me more than a new door. Well, yeah, because I have to do 8 times more work to get that door to work at all. And I'm not going to guarantee it's going to work that great.
That's like when I bought this house, every single door was 27 inches wide.
He's been in here 4 or 5 minutes, and I didn't even know he was here. I'm watching the freaking thing kind of out of the corner of my eye. Didn't even see it scroll up. We still have 6 whole people in here listening to us babble.
Who's in here? I didn't hear you.
Robbie Mack just came in.
Oh, hey, Robbie.
Dude, jump in the stream.
I'm wondering how long it's going to take people that are curious about this to realize half the time I'm on your stream.
You were here before, weren't you, Matt? Didn't I see you scroll up a while ago? I was actually going to go a half hour ago. Still sitting here yakking with you. There's nothing else to do. Be watching some stupid TV show. Working. What the hell are you doing at 10 o'clock at night?
Going back, looking at all the chat here.
Yeah, there hasn't been much chat. It was almost a good half an hour with nothing, dead zone.
We're so
excited. I didn't notice it. Oh, I could swear I saw it. Maybe it was somebody else. It all looks the same to me. I'm blind. Anyway. Hey, Matt, how you doing? I'm sitting here playing with my back scratcher while he works on his belt printer.
Hey, did you tell me you had Matt on the stream the other night?
Which Matt?
Jake from State Farm, Matt.
Yeah, he was on New Year's.
I just got to ask, was he wearing khaki?
I don't remember. He just was not because I'd never seen him before. I didn't know who he was. For some reason, I always thought he was like a teenager, 18, 19, 20.
Well, I know a bunch of us speculated he was the actual actor from the State Farm commercial.
Yeah, no, he's a rather large bear of a guy. I mean, he's not fat. He's a big guy. First looks at it. I mean,
Oy.
he looks like a normal guy. I was expecting for some reason, I was expecting some scrawny little twig, like 6 foot tall twig of a kid. I don't know why I got that picture in my head talking to him, but he is no twig.
I just, every time I see his head, I just picture the guy in the State Farm commercial. Yeah,
Well, that's why he put that name up there, kind of. But no, he does not even look like the guy from the State Farm commercial. Was he wearing khakis? Bertram said he was wearing khakis. By the time he got in there, I was too drunk to remember. I just remember seeing he's got really black hair. I don't even know. He's got to be his late 20s, early 30s, maybe. If that. I mean, he is young. He's not my age, but not our age. But he wasn't.
Hey, so you can stick with your first comment, your age, because you're old.
I am old. Well, you're not exactly a spring chicken either.
I'll just say, don't go adding 10 years.
Well, how old are you? You're in your mid 40s or early 50s, aren't you?
46.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a few years on you. The funny thing is you look older than me.
If I were to cut the beard back and trim my hair, I wouldn't. It's all the gray that shows up.
I got the gray now too. If I actually let my beard grow, I got that those 2 gray streaks that come straight out of my cheeks. You can actually sort of see it right now. These are gray. This is still black, and this is gray. It actually looks. I tried growing a beard. It just drives me nuts because my hair is so ridiculously thick that it's just annoying to grow it. My chin is not soft. It's wire grade. I'm not kidding. It's like 20 gauge wire or thicker.
Now is the hardest part about building this thing. Getting it dialed in to right at 45 degrees.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's in his late 20s, early 30s. But I always just thought he was like a, not teenager, but late teens, early 20s, in college or just out of college kid. That's what I always just got that impression just from, the way he talked and everything. And he is not. He's a big boy. I mean, he's not. I shouldn't say that because that makes him sound like he's fat or something. He's not fat in any way. He's just. He's got to be close to. He's got to be.
I keep waiting for him to type unsubbed on there.
From who? From Jake?
Who? Yeah, from Matt.
Oh no, he won't. I made fun of him that night. I was half in the bag when he showed up, and I just freaked when he showed up. I was like, "No way, that's not you. You're some 20-year-old skinny kid." I don't think he said 10 words the whole time he was on that stream either.
Okay, so you were witness. If anybody asked if I actually made sure this was a true 45, there's my digital degree.
Yeah, I don't trust those things. If I want to check a true 245, I put a square on it.
I tried that. Small problem. The square needs to be like 3 inches taller.
You hold it off the side, dummy. Off the side, not on top, not on the bottom, off the side.
And line up on what? I've got this bracket in the way. I literally need like a block underneath it if I was to check it with the square. That was why I just went ahead.
Well, that's the other thing you can do is just
digital.
you can put a flat thing underneath the bottom of it. You know,
Yeah.
Put another piece of extrusion under there.
But I was at Harbor Freight. It was $20. I'm like, digital. I'm like, that works. The only bad thing is it's magnetic, which would make it really nice. But yeah, magnets don't work with aluminum, so that didn't help.
I don't trust those digital freaking angle finders. I've used too many of them to know that they're off a degree or two on the average. It's like using your cell phone. I mean, it's close. It's a good guesstimate for guesstimating, but they're not. I don't trust them digital ones.
Well, at some point, I'll put a block in here and check again with my straight edge. But for now,
well, there is another way too.
oh,
You know how to do a 3-4-5?
you're talking do my math?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a true 45 and it's a true square. If you can go out a division of 3, up a division of 4, the diagonal will be a division of 5. And it'll be a true, or no, to do a 45, it's got to be 5, 5, 5, 5, excuse me. 3, 4, 5 does a square.
The problem is finding the true length this way because there's no end corner right here.
Yeah, but you can bypass that by having your you can measure up twice and you subtract the bottom one, the first one from the second one. That's your height difference.
I don't think I made enough screw holes in this thing when I designed it. I think there's like 100 and some of these button head screws. I know I had to order a second pack to finish it. I don't know if anybody ever accused me of not building it solid enough.
Matter of fact, you should be able to do it with those uprights you have built in. Those should tell you whether it's a true 45 or not.
I said everything designed around a 45 degree. It can't fluctuate much just by the design because where it's slid into is 45. This piece is going through is set at a 45.
Yeah.
I can't get much.
Those are all level and parallel and square and everything. You got to be at least within a degree or two, which isn't going to matter in that case, really. I mean, it will when you actually go to print, but that's still adjustable.
Did not realize I already had a two-nut in there.
What is that blue? Is that PLA or PETG?
It's high five.
It's what?
It's high five blue.
Oh, is it? It looks
Yeah.
kind of white.
Yeah, it's the high five HTPLA. The only thing I did,
blue is darker than that.
the only thing I didn't do with it, and I probably should have, but I didn't want to risk it because I've used so much of it and it's too expensive, was I didn't anneal it. Because if I had time, I might have thought about it just to see what the shrinkage issue was and whether I could still use it once it was annealed, but
Well, you can avoid the shrinkage with that.
that's what Peter was telling me. He goes, just bolting all the pieces into your extrusion machine and strap
Yeah,
it.
bolt it in and then anneal it.
Yeah. That's something.
Like motor mounts.
After
My two motor mounts it's Maker Geeks. I hate saying that because I can't stand the company now, but this is all Maker Geeks HTPLA Raptor. And the two motor mounts, I actually have a dead motor. I put them in the oven with a dead motor bolted to them.
Yeah, because when I get back from Earth, I might take it apart and anneal the pieces, but
So I wouldn't even take it apart. All you gotta do is pull the electronics in. You actually don't even have to. 100C isn't gonna hurt the electronics as long as you're not running it. Don't run it at 100C, but if you pop it into an oven, and you can actually anneal it, people don't realize you can just put it in like your car outside.
I'm about to say, you show me who's got an oven in your house big enough to fit this thing.
You could stick that in the back of a car or a truck.
Yeah.
Make sure on a nice sunny day and make sure it gets up to about 100 degrees inside the car and leave it there for an hour.
This summer, I'll put us out in the sunlight and put this in the bus.
Yeah. Just let it kneel in the bus. Especially with it all bolted together and everything, it can't move.
I'd be worried
then it'll kneel in place.
About it sagging if I did that.
Because their HTPLA is good. It only shrinks like 0.5%. Their only problem is depending on how the layer lines is, it's like 0.5% one way and like 0.75 the other way, depending on the layer shrinkage.
Yeah.
It shrinks more against the layer or with the layers. I can't remember which way it is, but the Maker Geeks, I never noticed any real shrinkage. It does warp a little during annealing if you don't have it bolted in place. As long as you have it bolted in place, it doesn't go anywhere. You anneal it. I put it in the oven for about 20 minutes at 100 degrees, 215 or 212 Fahrenheit, and then let it sit there for 15, 20 minutes and then just shut off the oven and leave it in there until the oven cools off.
Yeah. Somebody asked me how many test pieces I printed building with.
Yeah. I've thrown out about 4 or 5 of those boxes building this thing.
I figure I'll take that with me to Murph. Just anybody asks, hey, you want some of them? Take them. I keep hoping somebody will be at Murph with a. I saw him at CES on Hawk 3D's video. It was a piece. It had a part shredder that went straight into a filament maker. So you like basically for recycling filament. That's all shades of blue. So I'd end up with blue filament.
Yeah. It does not look like hi-fi blue. That looks like the winter blue.
I think it's just the way the light's hitting it.
Yeah.
Look at it. One angle it's dark, the next angle it's light because of the glitter that's in it.
Yep. Yeah, and it's probably just the lighting in the camera and everything. It looks too light. It looks like they're winter blue or whatever that.
Well, and you got to remember how close my light is.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's just.
The ceiling's like 6.5 feet.
I would have never guessed that as hi-fi blue looking at the camera.
Come on, you buzzard. This is the hardest one on the wife and mother to put the screw hole in.
I threw out my hi-fi blue, I think. My extruder was originally hi-fi blue. Or my hot end mount.
For a while, High Five was the only pasta I could print with. I don't like the coarse texture of the normal pasta.
It depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, the way the Bowden tube feeds to my Da Vinci, it does too tight of turns, and that pasta just jams up in it.
I had a lot of problems, and I still have problems with that dark purple they came out with this year.
Oh, I
love the color, but I cannot print that on my i3. I can only print it on this with this 0.6 nozzle. It clogs that nozzle left and right.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just that purple. That's the only one I have that problem with.
It.
Huh?
So I didn't have any problems with the CRX with it.
Yeah, it jams in that constantly. And it's funny because Walter got his at almost the same time. I think I got mine like a week before he got his. And I didn't use it right away because I was doing other stuff. And he started using it. It's like, it's constantly jamming. And then I started using it. It was constantly jamming. I think I got like actually, I got a Walter head when I first did it out of it.
I wonder if they had a bad back.
Huh?
I wonder if they had a bad back because I said I had no problems with mine.
I have absolutely no problems running it out of the 0.6 nozzle. None at all.
Because I'm pretty sure my CRX is a 0.4 nozzle. I didn't have any problems with it.
Yes, it is going to be a belt fed, Michael. That's exactly what that is, a belt.
Oh, someone asking about the printer?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Michael.
Yeah, it's gonna be a belt. It's gonna be a really big belt.
Is that a little white dog in your avatar, or is it almost looks like a mouse?
A what? Where?
His avatar, Michael's avatar.
Oh.
Look at his little. It's just like the head of either a white dog or a mouse or something like that. I think it's a dog from the look of it. It's hard to tell. It's so small.
Yeah. Viewers, you showed up in the most boring part of this build. Me putting in peanuts and screws. Nothing exciting here.
It's my dog. He said it's his dog. That's what I figured. Puppy. Woof. I finally got my freaking breaking sticks videotaped today. I hope they're videotaped. I haven't even looked at it yet. Everything seemed to have worked. I'm hoping I didn't. I have the habit of recording and forgetting to stop the recording. And then when I go to record the next one, I start it up again, but I'm really stopping it, which is what I did the last round. This is the fourth time I've tried to videotape that. Anyways, I hope I got it done today. It's about an hour and a half of video I got to edit down to 10 minutes or less.
45, dead on.
Cool.
I like it
What
when
is that particular breed is shepherd, but sure.
What's that?
Albino-ish. He was just saying what type of dog it is. It's a shell. I can't even read it. I don't have my glasses on. Shallow shepherd. I don't know. Some kind of white shepherd.
You know, the funny thing is, for the longest time, I thought you were in Australia.
Huh?
For the longest time, I thought you were in Australia.
That's because of the stupid hat.
Yeah. Between your name and the hat, I thought you were in Australia.
Well, I lived with a bunch of Australians.
You're like, no, I'm right up here in New Hampshire. I'm like, oh, shoot.
No, I'm in Connecticut, not New Hampshire.
I'm sorry, New England, I meant to say.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I lived with a bunch of guys from Australia and Florida for a while. Actually, two guys and one of them had a girlfriend. They all lived in our house together, and basically none of us really lived there. That was our place of hang out and party. Almost none of us actually slept there. We were always sleeping in somebody else's house. But anyway, so I picked up a lot of slang Australian. I started almost having the accent because they were around me. I worked with them. I saw them all day. I hung out with them. They lived with me. I mean, I literally was with them, 20 hours a day on the average. So I started almost getting the accent because I actually saw them more than Americans. There's a lot of, I say smashing a lot, which was an Australian thing, I guess. Everything to those guys was smashing.
Yeah, Australia.
Last night, I went to the bar. We had a smashing time. That looks smashing. And I picked that up. I still say that to this day. And that was, 15, 20 years ago I lived with them. Shiloh. Okay. It's a Shiloh Shepherd. Never heard of one. Looks cool, though. I had a girlfriend that had a Akita. When I first saw it, I just thought it was a shepherd with, a shepherd with a husky tail. It was like a crossbreed. You ever seen those, the Akitas?
Oh, yeah.
She got it as a puppy. So it's just a shepherd with a, with a tail.
It'd be the most loyal dog you can buy.
Well, the funny thing is for one, you can tell if it's a real one or if it is just a shepherd that's been bred with a husky, because I guess there's knockoffs. They got a purple spot on their tongue if they're a real Akita, which I didn't know until she got it because she bought it purebred. She had friends that breed them. And no, that they're freaking huge when they grow up. That thing had to have been a 110-pound dog by the time it got to full size. It was freaking huge. It was a horse. It was as big of a Great Dane, but bigger build too. I mean, Great Danes are, kind of running, skinny, athletic-y looking dogs. This thing was built like a brick house. That thing would knock me right over. I used to play with it, and it could take my head and just put my head in its jaws.
Isn't the you ever see the movie Hachi?
No.
I think that was an Akita. The dog's owner goes to work one day and dies and doesn't come back, and the dog stays at the bus station waiting for his owner to come back for like 2 more years. They actually put a statue of the dog up at the train station.
Yeah, this dog of hers was, he was big even for an Akita, but holy crap, they're huge dogs. She had some friend that bred them, and she got it. It was, I don't know, its paw got damaged, so they couldn't sell it or something. They get to get thousands of dollars for the freaking things.
Well, supposedly the real true purebreds are only come out of China, I think it is, or Japan somewhere.
I don't know.
I know there's one breed of them that you can only get them from either like China or Japan, and they breed them per order. Like you say, I want one, they breed it for you and then send it to you.
Yeah, I don't need a dog like that. If I want a dog, I go to the pound. I just don't get especially some of these really ugly things. Like some of these poodles. I'm sorry, poodles are butt ugly. They are not cute. They're no fun to pet because their hair is all like matted and yucky. So they're not even. I just don't like that kind of. And I call them dust mop dogs. I don't even know what breed they are, but they just look like a dust mop with legs. They scurry across the floor like little ankle biters that look like Weebles, not Weebles. What the hell was that on Star Trek? They kept falling out and taking over the ship. The little puff balls. Tribbles. That's it. I used to go. The first one I ever saw, I thought it was a tribble. Like, that's a tribble. I was like 10. It's like, no, it's some breed. I don't even remember what it is. But they look like dust mops when they grow up. It's like you put a handle on them, you just push them around the floor. Clean your floor. Anyway, it's 10:30. I think I'm going to kill it.
All right, man. Sure. I'm so exciting to talk to you today.
Actually, I'm actually watching you build the thing. It's kind of fun. I know most people probably find it boring, but I get what you're doing. So I've been there. I built this puppy from scratch, 100% mine. Designed every single piece of it.
I can't say that I entirely designed this because I said a lot of these parts, like these quarter pieces, you started off as a D-bot part, but I've cut and shaped and stretched and skewed them all to the point where there's like probably this much in the middle that wasn't changed in some way, shape, or form.
See, mine is 100% me. There is not a single 3D printed part on there I did not design from scratch. Everything. The extruder, everything.
If someone took the time to line up the
mistakes too.
These corners were probably at least because someone took the time to line up the bearing mount so they fit so the belt would hide in the extrusion.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to keep that. Now I had to stretch it and move it to make it line up with the linear rails because I didn't keep it. They designed it to be one of these style that rides on the extrusion. And I was like, no, I want to go full linear rail, so I had to shift everything out to line up on the rail. But
where'd you get those rails?
Zoltec.
So they're not that big name brand one.
I don't know what the other one is. Zoltec was the only name brand I had heard of, really. But I haven't had any problems with them. So, and
I've actually heard the Zoltec
boards were printed on the belt.
Yeah.
The slides.
The rail core is using the Zealtech brand ones, whatever Zealtech. I mean, Zealtech isn't making them; they're buying them from China. Highwind, yes, that's the big name. But I was gonna do this thing in Highwind rails, and I was like, no way! It was like $100 a rail. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I mean, what's my book say that I spent on list? Like, I've got the whole price breakdown. You're climbing a $5,000. No, I'm still way under 2,000. Thank you.
Yeah, no, the rail core is using the same ones from Zealtech.
That's who recommended them. What's his name? Tom, I think it is.
You know, those guys were right next to me at Earth. Like, literally right next to me. I had Colin on my left and those guys on my right.
Let's see. The linear rails cost $175.
For all of them, not each.
Yeah, for all three. And then the extrusions are
Still not
$150.
cheap.
Right now, without adding up all the little nuts, bolts, and screws, I'm at $1,652.
It's not terrible.
I said I think once you add up all the wiring and the nuts and bolts, I'm still under $2,000.
I'm right around $1,000 for this.
And I said that was using. I mean, I spent the money. I got the E3D steppers. I got the Bondtech extruder. I got the Mosquito hot end. You know, I got the Mosquito heater block and their thermistor and all that stuff. And so I deliberately built where it's like, no, everything is top of the line parts. It will have, and you get to be the first one to hear this. It will have the largest build tech sheet ever built.
The largest what sheet?
Build
Tech?
tech.
Why are you gonna get a direct from Build Tech?
Yeah, it's the largest one they've ever produced because it's 400 millimeters wide, but a full 2 meters in length.
Yeah, because you're gonna wrap it, right? It's gonna be
Yep.
a drum.
It's like literally, according to Kayla, they hadn't made anything longer than a meter until I made this request, and she's like, "I ain't sure we can go that long."
Sure,
So-
that stuff comes out in a big, massive, probably 20-foot sheet, like 8 foot long.
That's what I thought too. But according to her, she won't say how it's made, but she said that's not how it's done. I'd love to see how they make this stuff, but I'm sure that's a closely guarded secret.
Not really, because think about all the knockoffs there are.
Mm.
Can't be that closely guarded.
But yeah,
Knockoffs are pretty much the same stuff.
yeah, it'll have a stainless steel belt riding across a couple aluminum build plates, and then the build pack will be adhered to that.
Yeah, I'm not big on the Build Tech. I mean, it works. I like it. It's just it burns too easily, and I'm one of those that I'm always fixing something that isn't broken. And,
Yeah.
I've stuffed nozzles into Build Tech too many times to bother with it.
That's the thing with this one. I've got she sent me a test sheet, a couple scrap pieces that I put onto a smaller piece of stainless. I'm going to dial this in on the junk before I put the nice, perfect belt on. But pretty much once this, I mean, that's the one nice thing with this design. Once the Z is level, the Z is level.
Yeah, you can't really move it.
And you always have, you know, if you think about it,
You have the cockeyed it if you have
only one.
light out.
Yeah, the Z's only one nozzle width across. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can still cockeye that thing if one of those motors bugs out on you. You're dual motor, right?
What's that?
That's got a dual motor, right? On either side.
Yeah, it's correct. Why I guess if it goes crazy stupid, it could tweak it, but it's hard to flex this thing once it's going.
Is it? Yeah, I'm thinking I might do this after I get some work again. I might do rails on this instead of the wheels.
I was on debating when I build the 500 cube again if I'm not going to go ahead and do rails on it to just make myself a 500 cube rail core.
This thing's 500.
That is?
It can be, yeah. Well, I can actually, the way I designed it, I can go up to like 475 cubed. The frame is exactly 500.
Yeah,
The way I built it, if you look at it, all my stuff's mounted outside the frame. I designed it so I could use the whole inside of the frame as a printing space.
Yeah,
Like, you look at the hypercube, everything's mounted inside. You build this big frame, but then you have this little itty bitty printing area because all the motors and everything are inside the frame in the way.
Yeah. I think this was built too big, honestly, because this frame's 700 millimeters. So it's 700 by 700 by 700. I'm like, for a 500 by 500 by 500, 200 millimeters of wasted space.
Yeah, see,
an awful lot.
I should send you my files because you could probably improve a couple of them. But this is designed with that 700. You could probably do 680, 690.
Well,
the only thing that's holding me up is the actual head and the Z screws. I put the Z screws on the inside, and that was just lazy. I didn't want to bother with the whole design in the exterior. The hell is that? Is that a piece of build tech?
This was the first 500 by 500 flex plate system they did. I was on the waiting list. She's like, "Yeah, you got the first one we sent out."
That must have cost you a pretty penny.
That was like $300.
Yeah, see, I'm not going to waste that kind of money for a flex plate.
Well,
my flex plate, dude, was about $10.
The build for Murph was going to be this as a 6-tool changer.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And
no, that tool changer just seems like too much crap to go wrong.
I told E3D what I wanted to do, and they kept giving me the runaround on giving me any kind of build design for like, oh, we don't want to release the design yet. We don't release the design yet. I'm like, well, I want to build this for Murph next year. Oh, it'll be released in plenty of time for that. Half the people don't have the beta test yet. There's no way they're going to release it to the public in time for anybody to build a printer for Murph out of their design. If you're not in the beta group, you're not getting it. The only way I could have got it to build it would have been to sign up for the beta project, pick out a couple grand to get the beta unit, and then pour it apart to throw in this.
Yeah, no.
And even then,
mine's mostly printed. You can print this.
Yeah. I keep joking with Walter that I'm going to print him all of the aluminum, print him all the extrusions for this with the belt printer so we can make one.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to do a belt printer with an extruded. Although, honestly, if you use rails,
yeah,
the rails are structurally sound. You're just using the extrusion to support the rail.
Right. And the pressure on the extrusion down here is pulling this way. And it's pretty well, when you put the aluminum build plate and everything on it, it's pretty well braced. I don't see, and you really don't want to crank the belt down too tight. If you start cranking it down too tight, it starts to bind when it moves.
Yeah, it's going to bind on you. I was going to say, it's basically just like a belt sander.
You need it just tight enough that it'll move. And I sit and I play it like a drum. When I'm tightening it, I just keep clicking each side till it sounds the same.
So that's what I do to tighten the belts on this. I measure the tightness. I don't know if you saw me rebelt it when I did the towers, but I plucked the back run, which is the only run that's equal on both belts. I just pluck them so they sound the same. Then I adjusted a little bit to make sure the Z carriage is square to the frame, or X carriage is square to the frame. I actually put a square on it, square the X carriage to the frame. Yeah,
I think the hardest part I had with building this was designing the little blocks that go right here on the bearings to get the belt lined up perfect. It was either too far out or too far in or too high or trying to get them to where they tracked perfectly straight and didn't bulge or bow at the end to cause it to get tighter when it got to the far sides. That was the hardest part.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing when I was designing this. So I was watching all this, even the rail core, the way they take the belts and they cross angle them and do weird stuff. And it's like, why? Why not just stack them and have everything exactly parallel? That way, if there's something going wrong because the belts aren't lined up anymore. My top belt, my lower belt, not that you can see it in here, they're perfectly in line everywhere. And there's no angles, there's no nothing. It's a straight shot.
The only angle I have in this thing at all is I'm keeping the belt tucked in the aluminum extrusion coming down. It goes around the stepper, and then I have it kicked out to an idler bearing right here to line up with the linear rail.
Yeah, but you're doing that to line it up with the linear rail. It's not doing an angle of travel.
Yeah.
One thing I hate is you see like a lot of these, like the A-nates or
Oh.
A-nets. Well, you're
diamond
looking at the X belt and it goes across on the bottom, but then it comes up to the carriage and it's like at an angle coming up. And it's like, don't you people know your basic math as you go from one side to the other? You're changing your movement dimensions. What's up, BVD? You know, as you get closer to one side and another, it's traveling faster or slower. And everyone's like, no, it's pulling the same. No. As you get closer to the bearing, this side is traveling slower. If you have a steep angle on the belt going up to a stationary item that you're moving, as you go closer to the belt or to the pulley, it speeds up. So when you're in the middle, you're going at a set speed. But as you go closer this way, it speeds up going this way, and it speeds up going that way. You have an arced, speed profile. I mean, it's minor. It would be hard to see it in anything but, using calipers and a dial caliper even, but there is a fluctuation in speed.
It's like one of the ones I saw. I think Daniel Howerson was helping somebody, and he looked, and he had his carriage, and one belt was coming up and going straight up, and the other one was coming up to like an inch offset on one side, and the other side was only offset by half an inch. He's like, those belts can't be the same length. There's no way that's going to print accurately.
Yeah, no, it's going to go diagonal. You're going to get weird angles.
He's
yeah,
like,
you see so many of those.
Good egg.
And it's even like I was watching Angus's. He did that little baby printer thing in the box there from the video game, and his does that. His X carriage, the bottom of it's fine, going from the motor to the pulley, but going from the pulley or the motor to the carriage and it's moving, it's rising at an angle. So as you go across, it's going to change speed because those belts are going to change. There's an angle there, and you pull it closer. As it gets closer and closer, that angle has to get steeper and steeper and steeper. So it's going to pull faster and faster and faster to get that steeper angle. It has to. It's simple, simple geometry.
I was like, when I was laying this, I was making sure my belts were the exact same length, just to make sure I had it, trued up. I'm like, okay, I got this. Both belts are this long, and I've got 10 teeth above, on the bottom side of it, and I got 12 teeth exposed on the top side of it.
Yeah. I'm not
just trying to make sure it was, as
I
true as
just
I
squared
could
the
make.
frame up and then I squared the X to it, and I just know it. If everything's square, it's square. Oh, look at my foot.
Keep looking for
I
the
see
groove.
my foot.
I'm like, I still have screws in my bag. I must have missed something.
I have a pair of underpants. What's that got to what? What did I miss? Not much. Uploading a video for tomorrow. You're another one. I swear, I bet I'm not subscribed to you. Go to channel. Freaking, everyone's like, oh, you're going to lose subscribers when you go to YouTube. See, I'm not subscribed, and I know I've subscribed to you.
It's hard to lose subscribers when you don't have any to begin with.
Yeah, well, that's because it's just short for BV3D. It's easier to say BVD.
Mr. Brian Vine.
Oh, you mean BVD is a pair of underpants? I got you. I never even thought of that. Do they still make BVDs? Is it even a brand anymore? Isn't that a brand? BVD?
Possibly.
I'd rather be a butt ram than a pair of undies. Why? You're the dirty hole the undies go into. Or cover. Or whatever. I don't know. Now we're getting sad. That's just really sad. Anyways.
All I think about that the one bonus is I just made you say underwear.
Yeah, you know what I just watched? I haven't watched it so long. I did not remember 90% of the movie. And it's a stupid movie, but I couldn't help myself. And I usually don't like those dry, kind of yucky humor, but I watched Super Troopers and Super Troopers 2.
I could never stand to watch that movie.
I normally can't either, and I was in the right mood this morning, and it was just Super Troopers 2 just came out on HBO this week. So I kind of just recorded it like, yeah, it's one of those I used to put on. Like I said, I don't think I've ever watched Super Troopers through. It was one of those, I never watched it in theater. I always put it on television and, I'd be doing something, not really paying attention. And, something funny would come up and you'd go, that was funny. I've never watched it through. And this morning I actually watched them both. I was sitting there making bread and breakfast and stuff. I made homemade bread this morning at 4 o'clock. Got up at 4 o'clock to make homemade bread for breakfast. Because I'm awesome. I made apple cider bread. Cinnamon, brown sugar, apple cider, wheat bread. That was breakfast. And it was freaking tasty. Definitely a breakfast bread. Not a dinner bread. Not something you make a sandwich out of. French toast. I made 2 loaves. I might make French toast out of it tomorrow.
Telling you, Tom, you might as well call this stream the White Knight sneak preview stream.
Well, weren't we talking about politics earlier too? I started out sorting my screws, and I don't know, there's like 1 or 2 people here. John came in. I think he even left. He got so bored watching me sort through screws. And then Glenn jumped in, and he more or less did it because he was, rebuilding his computer to see if Hangouts would work. I'm like, jump in. If it busts on my freaking stream, I don't care. We're not doing anything important. We're just BSing. And of course it did. It finally broke on him.
I got to figure out how to live stream at some point.
Dude, it's so stupidly easy. It took me a while to figure it out, and yet it's so stupidly easy.
Because I pasted a link into my OBS studio when I first set up YouTube.
See, stop doing the OBS. Don't deal with the freaking OBS. Like right now, you have the one camera. Do it just direct right through YouTube first. Then deal with the OBS after. I don't use OBS. This is just the camera and YouTube and Hangouts. It's basically Hangouts, and Hangouts automatically broadcasts over to YouTube. When I go in and it's this easy, dude. You go into YouTube, click on live, click on events, click on start new event. Make sure you go to events, there's like event. I don't know. There's 3 schedules there. You want events, new event, give it a title, give it a name, and just say start now. And when you do start now, it's going to ask you, do you want to start up with Hangouts? And you go, yes. And it brings you right into Hangouts, fires the whole thing up for you.
Okay.
No OBS, no nothing.
But then do OBS. Camera views and everything else. You're stuck with whichever camera it picked, right?
Yeah, well, you can still select the camera and everything. Just like you kind of know, if you go into your Hangouts window, you should be able to select your camera and everything now. You can select your camera, you can select your mic. Is my mic actually picking me up? I just thought of that. I think it's way over there.
So, you want to see the rigidity? Wow, yeah, the mic's working.
This mic is almost too sensitive.
I'd say that passes.
What? I can't see nothing.
Okay. Here you go. Rigidity test.
I don't know. I saw it flex all around. Not.
I was teasing Mike when I designed this thing. I said, yes, you could use this as a handle, but I don't recommend it.
Yeah, it's not. You put too much stress on those 2 uprights.
I mean, for a quick test to make sure it's nice and solid, I do that. But especially once I add like 15 pounds of aluminum plate right here, I don't think you're going to want to do that.
No, you'll flex those 2040s. They won't break or bend or anything, but they'll flex when you pick them up. I'm assuming that's just 2040s for the uprights, right?
These right here?
Yeah, the angles.
They're just
no, the angle. That's 2020. No, the angled uprights.
Yeah, these are all 2040s. These are 2040s, and this is 4080 C channel.
Yeah. Those 2040s will flex when you get that much weight under them. You go to pick it up.
With the linear rail bolt, I don't know if they will. They're pretty set.
That's true. I forgot you got the linear rail there. That's because that's more structural than people like to believe.
Oh, it's killer.
Yeah, it's almost as structural as that whole 2040 is.
I mean, I didn't realize just how solid it was, but I'm like, this is the x-axis, and it's nothing more than a half-inch by half-inch aluminum bar with the linear rail bolted to it, and it's solid as a rock.
Yeah. Yeah, those linear rails are pretty rugged.
I mean, I designed this thing to be Bowden just because I don't like any weight on my carriage, but I'm pretty sure you could do direct drive and it wouldn't be.
I can't stand Bowden. I'm about ready to take Bowden off of this thing, which is the other reason I want to go to the Railcore setup, because theirs is direct drive and it carries the weight with no problem. So
I'm sure the first upgrade somebody will do when I publish this is make a direct drive, carriage for it. But I was like, that's the one thing I was like, if you've watched any of my videos, my slogan always, if it's not broke, then upgrade it. So
I'm always fixing stuff that's not broken.
I published this, so I'm like, okay, so I built it. Everybody else is trying to upgrade it.
Yep. One of these days I'm going to release this. I'm still not 100% happy with it.
No,
the bed is definitely wrong. I got to fix the bed lift.
Yeah, the goal with this is I'm actually going to print up business cards with the links to the Thingiverse and YouTube and Twitter and everything, and where you can just the goal is I'm going to have it all out there and just waiting to be published. Hopefully I'll have time to shoot some build videos of me assembling the second one, to where it's like, okay, I want to get everything out there and just go, I'm going to schedule it all to release the night before Murph.
Yeah.
They're just going to plug a bunch of videos, and I'll publish the Thingiverse thing and be like, yeah, okay, here it is. You want to see it? See it, Murph.
Not that it wasn't like 10 minutes ago, but yes, white bread's good too. He was talking about my bread when I was talking about bread. I made all kinds of fancy bread. I actually have a bread machine, which is really funny because all I use it for, I never cook the bread in the bread machine anymore. I just use the bread machine to mix the dough and then rise it. I take it out and put it in regular bread loaves and cook it in the oven now. I cannot stand the paddle of the bread machine in my bread. It just drives me nuts taking that out. And then you get the tear in the bottom, and half the loaf is wasted because you can't really cut it because the crust isn't held. Can't do it.
Now, I make pizza every once in a while. Well, every Super Bowl, my best friend comes over for a Super Bowl party, and they insist on me making pizza because I make great pizza. And I make all the dough with a bread maker.
Yeah. I love my bread machine. I use it 2-3 times a week on the average. I make a, and the other thing is I can make 2 loaves because I get the 2.5 pound machine. So when it makes the dough, I actually make a little too much dough. I actually make like 3 pounds of dough in a 2.5 pound machine. And then I take it out and I put it in 2 medium sized bread pans. So I get 2 loaves every time I make it too. But I don't like cooking it, and I can't stand the paddle.
Yeah, I didn't like
cooking.
Part about it either. Like, why would you make something and ruin the bottom inch of your bread with a paddle?
Yeah, I mean you can still eat it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's not like a loaf anymore. It's just torn up half. Looks like a rat got at it by the time you get the paddle out of it. You know, they need to make one where the paddle goes around and then sucks into the bottom or goes somewhere. You know, disappears.
They make one with a solenoid that retracts it down into the bottom of the pan.
Yeah,
or a little bit different. You can just slice that off.
even just spins it and lays it flat. You know, something just so it's not tearing up, not just the bottom of the bread, but an inch or 2 into the bread.
See, you need a 3D print.
Tears out the whole bottom. Huh?
You need a 3D print that design. That's your new niche.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to put a 3D printed anything in my bread machine.
Oh, print it out of high temp silicone.
There you go. You just see that? Brian said, adjust your retraction settings on your bread machine.
That's funny.
I think I've put every screw I can put into this thing right now. And if I do anything else, I got to start wiring up more stuff, and I really don't want to fire up the soldering iron again.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Anybody who was looking for Twin Peaks, last chance, here it is. Now it's going out of sight.
It's the funniest thing about building one of these things for the first time. When you start counting how many screws you're like, oh yeah, you need 40 or 50. It's like, no, you need hundreds. There are hundreds of screws in there.
You need
hundreds. Multiple hundreds of screws on that thing.
So I think I didn't count, but the last count I had, I was at 98, and I know I've added like 20 more to it when I did the circuit board assembly.
Yeah.
So it's up over 100 for sure.
I think just the base frame is over 100 on this.
Wow.
Well, I got all the angle brackets because I didn't 3D. I got regular, the regular 90-degree angle brackets. So there's 3 on every joint there with all of those. Plus I've got the aluminum plates. You can see it right there. And those have got 6 or 8 on every plate in the corner. Then the motor mounts have got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the motor itself. So that's 12 just there.
That's like when I first put it together, Mike was like, what's holding that bottom together? I said 12 volts. The cool thing about that 4080 C channel is a 2040 extrusion fits inside the C channel. Perfect. So I've got 3 2040 C channels running across it, and I threaded the ends. It's literally bolted in from the sides with 6 bolts on each side.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
As long as you cut your extrusion square, it's there.
Yep.
Yeah, I got one piece of aluminum extrusion when I was cutting, the saw hopped a little bit and it nicked the bottom of it. I literally have to slide a washer in there when I crank it down tighter. It's enough, it'll bow the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Why would you cut it with a chop box?
Just a standard, miter saw. Chop box.
I was talking to Glenn about, he did FK with it.
Yeah.
I did mine actually with my radial arm saw because it's got a smaller blade on it. People don't realize you start cutting heavy metals like that with a 12-inch blade, the blade will flex. And when you bite into it, it actually arcs the blade. 12-inch blades I can't use a 12-inch blade. Like I was talking to him, my crown molding up there. I had to do that with an 8-inch blade. I can't even do it with my 10-inch chop box because the minute the blade hits it, it arcs. Because it's just a piece of sheet metal. It's spinning really fast. That's all it is.
The one I'm using on mine, I'm not using a fine tooth. I'm using one of those wide. I mean, my blade's probably 3/16 of an inch wide. You got those heavy hardened steel teeth.
Yeah.
I just start real slow.
Minute it hits that aluminum, I guarantee you that arcs to one side or another, depending on the stress, stress design.
It should work its way back, though, if I don't move very fast, though.
Eventually, but it doesn't cut as clean.
Because what I do, I take the extrusion.
We're talking microscopic, dude. I mean, you'll never see it. But there's always an arc to a chop box blade. When it first bites, it comes down and it arcs over to one side or another, usually away from the motor.
Yeah, when I did mine, I took them, I set up where they needed to be. I found my mark, and then I clamped them to the frame, and then I just, like Glenn showed, nice and slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, if you watch like, I don't know if they do it on this whole house, but you watch any really good like trim carpenter when they use one of those sliding chop boxes, you always see them bring it down, slide it in, score the top, bring it out, bring it down, and then do the final cut. And when you score the top of it like that, it's not rolling the blade as much. And that score actually holds the blade square when it's going through. It ends up being a running channel. That's why you'll always see them go, score and then bring it back out and do the final cut. That's what I do. Even when I'm cutting rough framing, I do that now. It's just automatic habit for me when I use a sliding chop box. Because there's a noticeable difference when you're doing like, real fine trim work, especially when you start using the hardwoods like oaks and maples.
because those really push the blade over. And then you'll see the guy that doesn't know any better. He just drives it down into it because it's hard when you go to push through. He's watching that blade go near. It's like visible.
Oh, I bought one of those cheap Ryobi portable table saws.
Yeah.
And I was cutting.
They were.
I was cutting a big piece of plywood for something. I forget what it was even for. And I put one of them fine tooth blades on there. And I went too fast. And it was only a matter of seconds before I warped that blade.
Yeah. That's got nothing to do with the saw. That's got to do with the blade and what you're cutting with it.
Yeah. But I was just sitting there going, I'm like, okay, everything's going great. And I wasn't paying attention. I let it twist a little bit and it put some friction on that thing. And before I could get it straight, it just starts wobbling and shaking. I'm like, oh, this cut's done.
Yep. Never ever cut plywood sheets with a freaking table saw.
I needed a nice, long, straight cut.
Doesn't matter. Straightest, long, straight cut you can do is with a handsaw and a track. And the tracks are like $10. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, track saws are $500-$600." All you need is a straight edge. You clamp it down.
I usually just use the straight. I used to have a 4-foot long piece of angle iron.
Yeah.
I take that, make my measurements, clamp. I'd set my measurement 1 inch short, clamp it down both sides, and slap my skill saw on it.
Yep. All skill saws are the same unless you get into the trim saws, and all regular skill saws are 1.5 inches off the center of the blade. And that's the key, is it's off the centering of the blade. So if you have an 1/8 inch standard blade, you're actually a 1/16 inch off of 1.5 inches. If you mark it 1.5 inches, you're usually pretty accurate on the guard side. And on the motor side, it's usually 4.5. So if you need a 4-inch rip, and you're going to be running it, you know your saw is going to be going this side, and your short guard's on this side. You go 5.5 inches. Boom, mark it, do it. You get a perfect 4-inch rip.
Yeah, I like that. Did you see
I do that every day, but that's actually more accurate than using a table saw. It's almost impossible for one person to feed a sheet of plywood to a table saw and get a good cut. You're going to wobble. It's too big.
Yeah, unless you build that big array of roller sliders that.
Yeah, well, that's not a table saw. That's a cabinet saw. I use those too. I did cabinetry for a long time. I had a cabinet. Well, I didn't have it, but the company I was working for had a cabinet saw. That thing was huge. I could roll 6-8 sheets onto that thing at one time and just feed one right after the other into it.
Wow.
That was like a conveyor belt of rollers that just held sheets of plywood and ABS on it. Or not ABS, OBS.
Well,
why I keep saying OBS instead of.
I know you kept saying you were going to end this at 10 and then 10:30, and
yeah, we were yakking, we were having fun. Who gives a crap?
I need to go take care of a few things now though and get to sleep. So
yeah, I need to get a drink into me and then go to sleep myself. Glass of water, something. Actually, I think I got a glass of water. I just got back there. I do, so I don't even have to go downstairs. That's awesome. Anyway, that was fun. That was exciting. Time to go. See you. Bye.
Yep. See ya.